Well, welcome to the Bard of All Trades podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard. And today we're here on the bus with Tomas, my man Tomas Garcia. He is a BJJ veteran here from Emerald City 1. And I got a chance to grab him while I'm here in Syracuse. Really quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to my sponsors. Valley Jiu-Jitsu. If you guys are in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area and want to try Jiu-Jitsu out, you get a week free if you mention the Bard, so go do that. Also, Vedinian, if you like horror, sci-fi, and creative writing, check him out. Also, new Patreon supporter, my man Sam Diefenbach. If you guys like massages, hit him up on Instagram. I believe it's Dr. Bach. Anyway, welcome to the show, bro. What's good?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. It's awesome. It's my first time ever being on a podcast, so definitely popping that cherry. So,
Oh,
yeah.
word. I've definitely done that for more than one person, so
Yeah.
it's always a pleasure.
Nice. Hopefully, I don't fuck it up too bad. We're no one ever be on their podcast again or something like
No.
that. So, well, first, before I forget, I just wanted to say you have me on here, and I've seen a couple podcasts, and the host usually gives the guest a gift, but in this case, I want to give you a gift right off the rip, and just let you know, I really appreciate it. We just met the other day, so I don't know you too well, but like who can't go wrong with a $50 gift card, man? For gas
Oh, damn, bro, my
whatever,
man.
You know what I mean? Like
hooking me up with fuel on the road. My
yeah,
God.
that's what I thought. I'm like, yeah, probably. Who doesn't want some gas or something? When you're traveling in the bus.
Diesel ain't cheap.
Yeah,
Diesel ain't cheap.
yeah. So
Yo.
there you go, man. Just,
Yeah,
you know what I
dude,
mean?
I appreciate that,
yeah.
man. You're very kind for that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And like I told you earlier, I think you're doing a lot for the jiu-jitsu community, and that's awesome, man. You know what I mean? So
That's awesome, man. I just see some.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. My bad. Yo, thanks again for the gift. But yo, I love asking these questions to law enforcement people and even jujitsu guys. But just riff on this, right?
Okay.
So I love this quote that the best tool against bad men who are skilled at violence is good men that are skilled at violence. What's your take on that?
No, I totally think so. I think that's an awesome quote. And I think I embody that pretty well, you know what I mean? And whatever cops out there or whatever, you know what I mean? Any line of work where you have to maybe, go hands-on, get your hands dirty a little bit, it's definitely important to know, your firearms, your hand-to-hand if you need to ever use that, definitely. I think that's an amazing quote there. So.
Awesome, man. Yo, well, dude, let's kind of talk about like some of the shaky waters going on in like the whole like LEO world. Like we got defunding the police going on in like Seattle and everything. And recently I saw I can't remember which city or state's doing this, but they're making it mandatory for you to get your blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I did hear that, and the first thing that comes to my mind is that's awesome. If they hold the blue belt to a of quality curriculum and everything like that, you just can't water that down. So that way, you know
like
what I mean.
You can't get some cereal box ass blue belt.
Yeah,
shit.
true. Yeah. So I really hope I think it's an amazing idea, and I really hope it's implemented well. You know what I mean. And I had seen that on social media. I don't really watch the news too much, but I do follow a lot of the police jiu-jitsu Instagram pages, and I had asked someone posted it, and the admin had responded to it that they get a lot of hours in the 26 or however long it was police academy and stuff like that. They were training several hours a week. So I think that is definitely a great idea, and if they're doing several hours a week, that's awesome. So
yeah. In your so how long have you been a law enforcement officer?
I've been a road patrol deputy since 2014, so almost August, it'll be this August it'll be 7 years.
Dude,
Yep.
that's good. That's a good amount of time. Let me ask you, what do you think is the most important skill for a law enforcement officer to have and keep sharp, like
Okay.
on the job?
I would totally say your hand-to-hand, because I mean I've discussed this with a lot of police officers, is you'll go hands-on with someone way more than you'll ever either draw your firearm or, God forbid, ever having to use it, we get in a lot of situations where we either tell someone we can talk to people and stuff like that, but it's someone that doesn't want to be talked to and stuff like that, and isn't listening to unfortunately you're gonna have to put your hands on people sometimes, and I totally think the defensive tactics is probably the best thing that you could be sharp on day to day.
That's awesome, man. So how long have you been training jiu-jitsu since before then?
Yeah. So I
okay,
started
okay.
when I was in the Marines. I was
Yeah.
stationed out on Camp Pendleton, about half hour north of San Diego. I was training out there, and it was funny because like I did wrestling, since high school. I did that for 4 years. That was like the start of my grappling career, I
Yeah.
guess. And it was funny because like I was so uncomfortable like finding a new place to kind of like call home, like Fulton, where I'm from. That was like my home. Like I was comfortable there to wrestle with, teammates, alongside them, or like in the wrestling room and stuff like that. So just, trying to, I visited multiple gyms down there, off base and everything like that. And it was just like it's not that they didn't feel welcoming. I just didn't feel right there until I landed up at Team Quest Oceanside,
Mm.
and the owner and also black belt was named Brian Harper, and he was associated with Dan Henderson, one of his coaches there.
Yeah.
So because Dan Henderson trained at Temecula, which is kind of like within an hour drive distance of where I was stationed at.
Yeah.
So and I felt right at home there. Brian was awesome, offered a military discount, and
Oh,
it's just
nice.
yeah, the spot was awesome. It was awesome, and I was there, not from the very beginning, but pretty close to the beginning, and it was pretty cool because like, I'd get off of, work or whatever at the Marines and then just shoot straight over. And it was one of the best compliments I ever received there. Like was, his wife had told me, she's like, out of all the jiu-jitsu guys, you come here the most. And that was just like, I was like, nice. I like that. I like being recognized for, the addiction or whatever that I had for jiu-jitsu at the time. So I got my, the first 3 months I only trained no gi or whatever. Even if we were doing gi and stuff, I would only wear like, no gi stuff. And then 6 months after doing train with the gi, I got my blue belt, so that was pretty cool. So no, I was pumped. Team Quest Oceanside, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, they're not open anymore, but it was awesome.
Yeah, COVID killed it.
No, it was I don't even know what it was. I got out of the Marines and it was still there, and then like a year or two, I found out that it was no longer in business, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yep.
How many people in your unit at that time were training?
I didn't really know anyone personally that really trained.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. Just like, but the thing is they held these like grappling tournaments or whatever, like
McMap. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, but it was like actual like jiu-jitsu tournaments that were meant for only like people in the armed forces. So you had like your Marines, the Navy guys or whatever, the soldiers and stuff like that, and they would hold them like on either Camp Pendleton or like surrounding bases, and it would just be us, and it was awesome to like compete against guys in the military and stuff like that. And there was this thing called pancration, which was like kind of like it was MMA but like no headshots, so like you get a like punch and kick and subs and everything like that, but just no headshots. And that was pretty sweet. I did a few of those tournaments and stuff like that, and I got my ass beat by this guy from the Navy. Just completely wrecked me, dude. I couldn't even do anything, and I didn't have really any MMA training at all. I wasn't training that. Even with some jiu-jitsu, I got outclassed on that. But the jiu-jitsu tournaments were fun. I actually entered my first jiu-jitsu tournament without any jiu-jitsu at all. Yeah, well, that was pancration actually, without any jiu-jitsu, any form of mixed martial arts, just wrestling. And I got to the finals of my weight class.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I beat like 2 or 3 guys in the finals. I mean, I didn't even really know the rules. I just knew like the swing and like take people down or whatever. So
what's the heel hook?
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember this one dude hit me with a straight knee bar, and it was tight. Like I watched the videos like every now and then, and he got me in a tight knee bar, but I wouldn't have tapped or anything like that. And I'm sure if he cranked on it, or like if he got it, he definitely would have tore my knee up. But I don't know. I was like I wasn't tapping. After this, I would just haymakers on his ribs and stuff like that while he had a knee bar on me and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just maybe his technique wasn't that good because I obviously didn't tap to it. I beat him, and then I went to the finals, and was this dude put me in a slick triangle. And I was like, again, I'm like, fuck that. I ain't tapping or else like that. So then what I did was I carried him out of bounds, and they DQ'd me. Yeah, I didn't even know the rules. Yeah, I didn't know the rules at all. So I'm like, what happened? And they're like, oh, you can't like escape a submission. You can't go out of bounds. And I lost. And you know what I mean? It kind of sucked, but I was like, I was all about it. And that's like, I'm like, I got to find, I got to do jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So that was but yeah, I started training in jiu-jitsu back in 2010 is when I started, and I didn't become an officer until 2014. And I'm just so fortunate and grateful that something that I had already, you know, found as a passion in my life transitions to what I do as far as a career. So
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing. So other than like being like just a gun fanatic, I think that's like obviously one of the next best things that you could do is, you know, what I mean, either be wrestling, you know, any sort of mixed martial arts, just to, you know, just to keep your mind sharp and physically sharp and everything like that. So, you know, I just want to say this as well is like, I totally think jiu-jitsu is the number, besides MMA as a whole, I think jiu-jitsu is the number one martial arts as a cop or any sort of self-defense, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
someone could know, you know, as far as like police work, you know, you can know like your striking techniques, Muay Thai, karate, Taekwondo, whatever the case is, but we're not out there kicking people in the heads. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Yeah.
not, that's not what, you
Especially
know,
with the belt, with the
yeah,
equipment on it. You don't want
yeah.
that jumping around.
Yeah, no, and just like, you know, we're not out there, you know what I mean? You get a good kick to the head on some suspect, you know, it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? It
for
just
real.
doesn't look good.
You
You know
don't
what I
want
mean?
that phone video coming
yeah,
out.
yeah, and like you can, you know, and I've done it, you know, my fair share of times is like taking people into custody that are resistant and never throwing a single strike or anything.
Yeah.
And you know, chokes are definitely frowned upon, and you know, in the police world, you know, as far as like you know, all the legalities about it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Do I think it would help out a lot of the situations? Yeah, because like, you know, I don't know about you, but I've been put in some deep RNCs and gone out, and
Yeah.
you know, you let go and the dude's out. You know what I mean? And there's not much damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
I think it comes with knowing the skill too, right? Like with the George Floyd thing, like that dude probably doesn't train. The
No,
cop,
no,
you know what I mean?
no,
He just like,
no.
oh, I'm just gonna fucking put my knee on this dude's neck. If
Yeah.
you know technique, you're gonna be like, oh, I feel he's limp. Let me handcuff him.
Yeah, 100%.
Too easy, man. Yeah.
And honestly, like, it was terrible to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally don't agree with, you know, having the knee on the neck there and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Maybe like the anywhere on the back, I think you should be pretty safe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you know, I control the hips or something like that. Like, you know, that's totally like, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
shitty to watch and stuff like that.
Of
You know what I
course,
mean? And
yeah.
so, but I totally think like, you know, in jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? You're going to keep yourself, you know, less prone to injury, and you're gonna, you know, your suspects aren't going to get injured because, you know, you don't want to like be injuring everyone and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? But
You want everyone to go home.
yeah, and you also got to do your job though. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Taking violent people into custody, or you know, just people talking shit. You know, you can get someone from just, you know, just talking shit all the way up to people trying to fist fight you, which I've encountered. You know, that whole spectrum of people. You know what I mean? From just someone talking shit about me, taking things personal and everything like that, all the way up to someone squaring up to me and
Yeah.
you know, on the road trying to take them in a custody and everything like that. So
Yeah.
mhm.
It's a tough job, man. I think this is something that I don't hear like a lot of people talking about, but I think is like a really important thing that jiu-jitsu brings to anyone's life that has like maybe not even like a violent temperament, but just like maybe like a difficult job, like a law enforcement officer, or even like a bouncer at a bar, right? I think like when you're in the room training and you get to kind of like see your buds and like you're trying to kill each other, basically,
no
you know,
doubt,
for 6
yeah,
minutes at a
yeah.
time.
Some like practice killing or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. Gotcha.
And then afterward, you feel good about, you know, everything. Like you're shaking hands, and you get to like kind of take your day out on your boys that, you
Yeah,
know, they
no
want
doubt.
that. And I feel like that's another thing. Like when you're training in the room, you don't have the urge to like take your day out on an asshole that you're trying to arrest or something.
Correct.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, and it definitely gets your stress out. Anyone in any sort of you know, high stress job would benefit greatly, you know, whether it being a nurse, you know, working in ER, you know what I mean, seeing some shit, you know,
Absolutely.
day to day and stuff like that, or whatever else. If you're like crunching numbers, but it's a stressful job, you know, it could be any job, you know, generally can be pretty stressful, and you know, and jiu-jitsu is a great outlet. And I just, you know, I train a ton, man. I go in, I have 2-a-days that I go in and everything like that. And you know, I really hate missing jiu-jitsu. And, you know, and after a couple of days, if I'm not at jiu-jitsu, I kind of start feeling a little angsty.
Itchy.
And stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I need to start rolling and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So definitely feel it. But I've been doing this for 10 years, man. And I've only taken 1 year off from jiu-jitsu. It was to go to the police academy, and I was on probation, and I didn't want to risk getting injured and then not being able
Of
to, you know, do
course,
my
yeah,
job and
makes
then
sense.
let me go because I can't, you know, either do the academy or field training or still be on probation, you know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
took a year off, and it was unfortunate, but I've wanted to become a cop since I was like 5 or 6 years old. Like, you know, back in kindergarten when they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, I always said a cop. And like, you know, I went to the Marines, but I never dreamed of being a Marine. You know what I mean? So like, I actually, it was funny how I got into the Marines as well.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So my brother, he was like all about it. Him and our good buddy Ellie, they were all about going to the military. And my brother was like talking to whatever branches and stuff like that. But I remember he was like leaning towards the Marines and stuff like that. And I never really gave it too much thought. I didn't even really know what I was going to do after high school or whatever. But I remember his name was Sergeant Jackson. Dude was awesome. So he called our house phone and I answered it. And he's like, "Hey, is Victor there?" I was like, "No, he's not home right now." And he's like, okay. This is Sergeant Jackson, you know, with the United States Marine Corps Recruiters Office. Who am I talking to right now?
Oh, man.
I was like,
baited.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm his brother. He's like, how old are you? I'm like, well, about the same age, you know. And he's like, you ever think about the Marine Corps? I was like, not really. And then he just, you know, gave me the spiel. And, you know, I was pretty hooked on after that and, you know, left right after high school and everything like that. But, yeah. That's funny, how I got into the Marines,
the recruiters get you every time, man. Professional salesman.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you like guns?
Yeah.
You play Call of Duty? Man, you're going to be a pro.
Yeah, no doubt. So, but yeah, no. So yeah, I just wanted to be a cop for the longest time. So I that's why, you know, I got out of the Marines. It was like a means to an end in a sense, just because like I think it was a great idea to do because I get
your life.
Yeah,
right?
I got a lot of discipline out of it because like. After that, and I definitely, you know, if any, you know, people in the military or whatever is watching, definitely use that GI Bill, dude. Because when I got out of the Marines, I used that GI Bill and I went straight to college, and it paid for my rent and all my books, and just, you know, and if you know you go through it honorably and everything, and do your 4 years, you get a lot of discipline. College is a walk in the park, you know, depending on your, you know, I'm not talking like astrophysics or something like that. I went for a public justice major, and it was cake, man. Like it was so easy. And I found like this hole in the wall apartment, and they gave me like $1,300 a month for my rent, and my rent was only $350 with everything included. So I just pocketed all that money, but I was making a lot of mistakes, drinking, you know, doing stupid shit.
Bro.
So, and that's what I was gonna mention. Like I made a lot of mistakes to where, you know, I almost didn't become a cop. You know what I mean? Like just making dumb mistakes and stuff like that, being young and dumb. And, you know, I think, you know, going to the military, I didn't have that, like, whatever fun like you do when you go to college or whatever, like right off, you know, or do whatever, you know what I mean? Like hang out with your buddies, you graduated together and just doing dumb stuff, you know what I mean? But, you know, I quit drinking, and, you know, which was like the epicenter of a lot of my issues and stuff like that. But anyways, you know, I'm really grateful for the sheriff then, Sheriff Todd, who gave me an opportunity to, you know, join his department, and haven't drank since, and don't ever plan on it again. And you know, I love the job, and, you know, yeah, I'm super grateful.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Well, to kind of like, I wanted to ask this question, not to change the
go ahead,
the
anything,
subject really so much, but I know you put on seminars for other officers as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell me like what are some like maybe there's other jiu-jitsu guys out there that want to put on seminars for like police officers in their local kind of circle? What are like the main things you're showing in these seminars?
Okay, yeah, so I've only done one, and honestly, man, dude, I was kind of nervous. Like even like for this, I was kind of nervous. But I can mention that in a little bit. But the thing is, it's like I was like super nervous because I've never really taught anything in my entire life. Like,
Damn.
Like yeah, I haven't. Like I filled in maybe once or twice at like I filled in once for the gym I'm at now, Ultimate Athletics. But then like there was a gym I was part of in the past, and like I was asked to fill in as like the head coach for one of those or whatever for like a kids class or whatever, or even like an adults class too. So a couple occasions I've filled in, and like I was always nervous, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Even I was doing jiu-jitsu the first time I got asked to fill in, maybe 2 years or something like that, but I was so nervous, and like people were asking me questions, and I just didn't, you know, I really didn't know, and if I did know, I forgot it because I was like blanking, and, you know, I was so nervous and stuff like that to teach people who were better than me, or like, you know, just maybe know more than I do. But anyways, so I was like super nervous about the seminar, but it was more like social media, like word of mouth and stuff like that, that I got people interested in it. Like half of the guys had trained and stuff, half, you know, didn't really train. If they did, not too much, or just barely any training at all.
Yeah.
Like, but what we covered was like, it was like a chain of like techniques. And so what we did was, I showed him like a headlock, defense kind of deal, because like I've watched enough like self-defense or no, like videos, use of force with police, or like street fights between two guys out in the bar or wherever the case is, and a lot of people, they tend to go to the headlock, and it's just like something like natural or instinctual, like I need to grab this dude's head and like drag it down to the ground or something like that. So I showed them how to like shrug it off and stuff like that, and then once they get on the back, we do, you know, a pretty simple leg trip and stuff, get on top, either so I did a couple options. If you gift wrapped, you can gift wrap them, you know, if they come to the side, you just grab, you know, the gift wrap, or if they turn into neon belly to a Kimura type of technique to put them on their stomach, you know, using that Kimura to get some pain compliance to have them go on
kind of like what you demonstrated in the video. So make sure you guys check that out. That's going to be coming up shortly.
Yeah, and I was extremely grateful. You know, I didn't and I, you know, I wasn't planning on making any money on it. That wasn't my thing. You know, I asked for a small donation and gave it back to the gym as like a thank you for letting us train in your gym. So that's mostly what we covered there, and just a, you know, just a chain through things and like escapes from like some hairy positions if you end up, you know, and if someone's choking you, you know, a choke defense and stuff like that. And what else? Some mount, like controlling techniques, and you know, if you end up on mount on someone. But I plan on doing another one, and you know, I talked to Mark tonight, the owner of Ultimate Athletics, and you know, I think we might make it a regular thing. You know what I mean? Like, because life gets in the way of, you know, people, and you know, things like such as training and stuff like that. And so, you know, if you can get into these like seminars, that you know, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
100%, definitely. Yeah, so let me ask you, like, kind of like when you become like a police officer, like a lot of what I've heard in the news, like I've never done, like, you know, like the cop training stuff, or you know, like applied to be a cop, or what's the police the training thing like leading up to being a cop, what's it called?
As far like the police academy,
police academy. That's it. So like, like what's in there, and what do you think like is missing?
You know, it's a lot of like classwork stuff, and like we do stuff like crimes in progress, where we're actually doing like some practical like application type stuff of the stuff we've learned, and that's towards the end of the academy. We do firearms, and you know, you get pretty comfortable with the firearm. We do 2 weeks, and it's like 8-hour days of just straight like, you know, running through scenarios, but obviously first learning the marksmanship and stuff like that, because I've never really been too, you know, comfortable with pistols. I mean, I was in the Marines, we did the yearly qual with the rifle and stuff like that, but other than, you know, unless you're an MP or like maybe I think it's like a sergeant or staff and above, you're not really getting qualified in your pistol and stuff like that. So I was never even comfortable. I had this funny story. Me and my buddy Evan Vela, we were in the Marines together. We went out shooting a pistol like out off base and stuff like that, and we were in like this indoor shooting range, and I was like trying to put the magazine in, but I was like the bullets were backwards and shit. So,
my god, bro.
Yeah, the magazine was backwards, and I'm like, I was super embarrassed. He's like, you're an idiot, and stuff like that. So hopefully, you know, I never make that mistake again. But being you know, getting comfortable with the firearm, definitely got comfortable with the firearm and stuff like that. But no, I totally think, you know, the DT might have been 2 weeks, but maybe make that longer. I think that's, I can't really think of too much things that are missing, but just have that portion be a lot longer. You know what I mean? And
which portion?
The defensive tactics. I'm sorry. You know, the grappling, and you know, learn. You know, we did boxing. Had a boxer come in, a boxing coach come in, and show us some boxing techniques and stuff like that. I think that should be way longer. You know, maybe month, 2 months, maybe, and maybe like 2 or 3 weeks where that's all we did, which happened. We did that 2 or 3 weeks of just straight defensive tactics all day. But like classroom stuff, and then break down for the day and go out to the gym and work more technique, you know what I mean, to make it not where it has to be all day, but still like we're still doing a couple hours of it for like, you know, another month or two or something like that. So but other than that, I can't really think of too much. I think it was pretty, you know, everything was good in the academy.
On a weekly basis, how often do you use like actual like detaining skills?
Wow, man, that's a great question, and it's you never know, you really don't.
So it's different like week to week.
Definitely, you know what I'm saying. Like, you know, I would say your chances of going hands-on more is definitely higher in like spring or summer when, you know, people are out there.
Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like
at the bar.
Yeah, especially up here. Like it might be different nationwide, but like up here, you know, it snows so much. Like people ain't really out there at the bars, like outside and all that stuff, like drinking, parties, bonfires, and stuff like that. But it could be, you know, there's been times where, you know, maybe I've gone 3-4 months without having to, you know, go hands on, and I think a lot of it comes from maybe the reason why that is because you just get better at talking to people and stuff like that. You know, I'm a very mellow, you know, wicked chill dude, and like that's how I come across as well with these people, very respectful, and that's all. You get a lot with respect, you know what I mean? If you're not like, you know, obviously we know there's, you know, in any profession, so I'm not trying to dog on police at all, you know what I mean? But just like, you know, you'll have those police officers or doctors, whatever, they're just like come out aggressive right off the bat, and people recognize that and they don't like that, you know what I mean? And
that's I think what sparks the people who have like authority issues. It's what sparks that up in them, like, no, fuck you, kind of shit.
And I see that sometimes when I get on a call, I already see that dude with the chip on his shoulder, and I just, you know, I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Deputy Garcia, you know, sheriff's office. And they kind of like, they look at me a little puzzled. They're like, why aren't you being a dick? And stuff like that. And I'm like, and I think it all has to do with me knowing jiu-jitsu and me knowing wrestling and stuff like that, because I don't need to come across like intimidating, because I, you know, and it, like, then they become comfortable and everything like that, and we just, you know, it becomes chill, and I just talk to them like we're man to man or whatever, man to woman, whatever the case is and stuff like that, and they definitely respect it. And that's not my goal to be like, oh, that's the coolest cop I've ever like talked to, but if I get that, then cool, you know what I mean? Like, and it goes a long way. It definitely goes a long way.
Do you have like a partner with you? Because that's like a huge thing too, like leading by example.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm trying. I know we're going off these tangents and stuff like that, but I really hope I answer some questions. If I don't and I miss it, you know, I apologize. But that's a great question, man. Like a lot of places, like I know, like the New York State Troopers, they have to, you know, double up after a certain time. You know what I mean? And that's just their policy and stuff. Like deputies, like we can be alone. You know, we don't double up. You know, when shit was first starting popping off, like I think Dallas, there was like a, you know, several officers who got killed and stuff like that. Then they had us double up a little bit, but generally we don't double up. You know what I mean? You're spending your whole 12-hour shift alone and stuff.
You're thinning your resources by doing that too, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, and I've thought about that. You know, I've doubled up here and there, but like, because like instead of, you know, two officers going to two different calls, then obviously it makes sense. Like if you go two officers in one car, then you got to handle this call, and he can't go running over there. You got to drive the vehicle over there and stuff like that. But you could be like 15-20 minutes away from your nearest backup, you know what I mean? You're on a call and you're like going hands on with someone, shit's getting hairy and stuff, and you call for your backup, and your backup's gonna get there, you know what I mean, as fast as they can, but still they're, you know, 10-15 miles away, you know what I mean? So it does get hairy at times, like when you think about it that way, you know, or you're in that situation. So no, definitely.
That's interesting to think about. What is like the most like common crime that you see in like, so you're in like the Syracuse area? That's where you...
Oh, well, I'm out in the county, like Oswego County. So like, that's like really, you know, you got a couple cities in there, but you also like, it's the boonies, you know, a lot of the boonies there, depending on where you're at in the county and stuff, you get more, you know, boony like or whatever like that, more country like. So but so no, you know, obviously, you know, your bigger cities like Syracuse, you know, a lot more you know, incidents like, you know, crazy stuff, I would imagine, you know what I mean?
Like the cities is where like you think the more crazy stuff happens.
Like shootings and stuff like that. You don't really see that too much up there. Maybe once every few months or something crazy like that'll go down.
Like,
so
I just shot like a snake or something.
No doubt. So I've never shot a deer. The first time I ever shot a deer was, you know, we dispatch deers as, you know, in our job and stuff like that. So if a car hits them, you know what I mean? You got to go out there and...
You call your butcher friend, like, yo, I want some jerky out of this motherfucker.
Well, sometimes they'll be like, you know, they'll be like, hey, if anyone, you know, finds a deer that's been hit or whatever, like, if it's not too beat up too bad, like, let me know. I'll come and get it or something like that. But...
I have friends in PA that do that.
So, but like, it's funny because like you want to make sure like when you dispatch a deer or whatever, like, you know, put it out of its misery or whatever, that you do one round, because if you do any more than that, then your buddies make fun of you and stuff like that.
Sure, dude. I've heard stories.
So that's pretty funny.
Damn, dump half a mag, bro. Ammo ain't cheap right now, bro.
Those motherfuckers are resilient as fuck. Like, I swear, you know what I mean?
I believe
you know, a couple headshots. I'm like, what the fuck?
Brains.
I'm about to like, you're about to fucking embarrass me in front of my friends and shit like that. So, but you know what I mean? So nice.
That's fucking funny. Yo, so let me tell you like a cop story that I had, like a recent one, and then we can kind of riff on this a little bit. Just kind of talking about like your like how you deliver yourself with tact when you have an engagement with someone, right? So this was in my hometown in Pennsylvania, and I have my like license to conceal carry.
Okay.
So I had my weapon on me at the time, and I remember like I got pulled over. I'm like, I'm a block from my boy's house too. We're about to play some poker.
Oh,
It's like,
nice.
damn.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck. I like went too fast through or like I went through a yellow light, and maybe like went when it hit red or some shit like that. And they pull me over, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like hands on the wheel, and So the officer comes up and he's like, yo, you know, hey, like license to registration, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, let me get the wallet out. Showed a military ID on the front, you know, get out of jail free. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the registration. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm over here. I have my registration next to my seat because in the glove box is my piece. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yo, so I'm down here and he's like, do you normally keep it there? And I said, yo, I know what this looks like. And I said, look, like, I'll tell you right now, I have my Glock in the glove box. Do you want to just get it? Just so, like, we're fucking off this topic and there's no tension here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like, I'm like a big, like, firearms practitioner myself, and I just know, like, how to be responsible with that stuff. And I have friends that are officers as well. Like, Jiujitsu, like, there's so many cops in Jiu-Jitsu, you know what I mean? So, like, the whole time, I'm like, yeah, man, like, all right, so, like, I'm going to pull the keys out the ignition. Here's the key. Unlock it. Like, I'm going to just go sit on the sidewalk. So he did that. He called back up. The other cop unloaded it and everything. They ran the paperwork and everything and, like, took my stuff back. And everything came back clean, and they gave me my stuff. He's like, yo, I'm gonna just let you off with a warning. Thank you for being like so tactful with that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, man, I can only imagine, like, especially in my city, like, we're one of the most like top 10 most poverty cities in America. Like when I was in high school. So like I know like the crime in my city is like fucked up. So I'm always kind of like giving myself like I'm trying to take as much responsibility for that stuff as I can. You know what I mean? To take it off their shoulders, because the more people I tell that story to, it maybe like will tell them like, oh, this is what I need to do in that situation and everything like that. Yeah. And it was like that's just a really good encounter that I had. You know what I mean? Where
no
like
doubt.
it could have probably been weird. Because like it like this here, because the registration I keep it here because it won't fit in. Like I have like a leather jawn, and I can't put that in there with the gun at the same time. It doesn't close the fucking Jeep.
I got you.
Don't get a Jeep. They're shitty.
So I've been in that kind of like situation before, and you know, a lot of the times they'll be like, hey, you know, I'm carrying, or I got a firearm here or something like that, and I'll just be like, all right, man, we're good. You know, I didn't take it as far as that cop did, which, you know, you definitely have that right to.
I'm like, yo, like, just fucking do it. Like, I don't want that thought in your head, because because the thought came when I went over here, and that was bad. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I got you. But in the instances that I have, I just don't touch it. We're good. You know what I mean? I appreciate you letting me know and stuff like that. And there was this one time when I pulled over this dude, and he you know, I'm talking to him, you know, and I'm not looking around inside the vehicle yet, but he goes, hey, you know, I got a shot, or it was either a shotgun or rifle. He had been hunting or something like that. He's like, it's right here. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, damn, all right, thanks for letting me know. You know what I mean? It just like sometimes, you know, it just made me think, like, you know, make sure, you know, when I'm like straight up talking to someone, don't get that tunnel vision, look around the vehicle first and stuff like that, or something. Or like you know, while you're talking to the dude and stuff like that, because sometimes you do get complacent.
Of course, man. And like it's literally your job to have situational awareness.
100%,
and you know what I mean? It's a different situation every time you walk up to a vehicle. But yeah, man, can you give any like advice to people? Like how would you recommend someone approaches like a situation where maybe they have like a weapon on them legally, and you know they just don't want any trouble? You know
I would just, you know, keep the both hands on the steering wheel and just be like, hey, just, you know, if they don't give you a chance to, but just as soon as you can get some words out, be like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm licensed to carry. I do have a firearm legally on my person. You know what I mean? Tell them where it is, either in the glove box or, you know, on your hip or something like that. So it makes us feel comfortable, because like you don't have to tell us. You know what I mean? Like you really don't, but it's good to know. You know what I mean? It just gives us, you know, just some more information about the stop. You know what I mean? So, and I've had it before where I'm like at this like burglar alarm, and it's like someone's alarm went off at their house, but we get a lot of those falsely and stuff like that. Just you know, whatever, cat tripped it or something like that. And we did have a dude show up, you know, and he had his pistol on him, and like, you know what I mean? And like at that point, I'm just like, oh, Larry, let me see your pistol permit and stuff. And he did have it. So it made me feel more comfortable that I saw his permit and everything like that. He's on scene with, you know, he lived there and everything like that. I think it was like his parents' house or something like that. And like, I felt comfortable, you know what I mean, walking around, you know, with him with a pistol, because like, I'm like, he went through all the right protocol and stuff, or whatever paperwork to get that pistol and stuff like that. I doubt this dude's gonna, you know, haul off and like shoot me or something like that. Hopefully not, you know what I mean? But anything can fucking happen, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But
Well, yo, we're on that topic. I'm curious, like, what are like some of the gun laws I should worry about, like in New York? Like, I gotta be careful, like with the bus. I'm always curious because I feel like the law is really weird about having a weapon in like a motorhome, because that's what this is, right?
okay.
So, like, how would you recommend, like myself personally, like, how can I legally carry like in other states with this being like my house?
Yeah,
Kinda
New
thing?
York's really tough. I know, like
For sure, and
like
Jersey, and
I
those are like where I've
yeah,
been driving a lot, and so like I don't even bring my shit with me.
and I have like I have a New York permit, but I'm pretty sure like I can't go and carry in New York City or something like that. Like you even have
That's
to have like special
interesting.
permission, even as a police officer, and I have no restrictions on my
Yeah,
pistol at all or whatever, my firearm, and I still need like you need permission to like
that's
carry down
crazy
there
to
and stuff
think
like that.
about, man.
But
And you know why I think that? Like this, I'll totally let you
no,
finish.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry
go
for
ahead, go
interrupting,
ahead.
but I think that's the craziest shit because the legal process to carry in these like crime epicenters shouldn't be that hard, because like if you're like a female, like a single mother or something, like I've seen like some nanny cam footage where like a burglar fucks up like a mom in front of the
Yeah,
kids and shit.
no doubt.
It's crazy stuff, man. They should have an easier time getting a weapon, man.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And I don't
Yeah,
know with all that like political stuff and
yeah,
like I know there's some states you don't even need a
yeah,
permit or something to carry, but I went through all the paperwork, all the references, having things notarized, fucking up the paperwork, going back, you know what I mean? It takes a
yeah.
long time to get a pistol permit, upstate New York and stuff like that. But before traveling to an area, I definitely would call like where you plan on staying and being like, hey, can you fill me in on
Who should I
what laws?
call?
Like if you were like
Just
to
like a
come to
local
like
police department.
no, I mean you can, but who's more knowledgeable on that stuff? Because like we deal with so much stuff. Like there's like if because I can run a firearm, the serial number, come back stolen, and stuff like that. But with it ever changing, we had some new gun laws enacted like within the last like 5-10 years or something.
Mm.
Uh the Safe Act, I think it was, with like they became more strict on like even like I think owning your own rifles and stuff like that. So um I would call like if you're staying in Onondaga County, if you plan on coming, you know what I mean, to a county, call the county clerk's office, ask to speak to the
The
pistol permit.
clerk's
Yeah, yeah, ask
office.
to speak to the pistol permit department. They'll transfer you over and they'll have a lot more information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't see a lot of too much of like pistols and stuff. Like the only thing that I worry about, you got your pistol permit, okay, you know what I mean. As far as like traveling, like I know there's like different things, like if you have like a restriction of like you're only allowed to go to like shooting like at a target range or something, sportsman, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, restriction or something like that. The way you travel, you got to like have the rounds or the bullets away from the firearm, you got
Yeah.
to have it locked up or something like that, like
Hmm.
but I've been pretty lucky, you know what I mean? I only spent a couple of years in New York, and then, I had restrictions on my license, and then I was able, I became a police officer and sent a paperwork to the judge, and he took off the restrictions and stuff like that. So, and then, I do have like my own like semi-automatic rifle and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
law enforcement officers are exempt from that Safe Act stuff. So,
Oh, interesting. In New York, what are some of the like gun laws? Because in PA, bro,
well,
it's pretty Wild West.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
it's definitely not like Texas, but like I have an AR myself in
yeah,
Pennsylvania. It's
okay.
not on the bus, sadly. I'd love to
Yeah,
show you
well,
it.
no, that's a good thing. Yeah, no, that's a good thing. So, like,
I'll probably get in deep shit
yeah,
for
so
having it
like,
here.
I know, like, when that safe law got enacted, like, you can own like a rifle type, like not, there's obviously your shooting or your hunting rifles and stuff like that, but the ones that like look more menacing or whatever, the
Yeah.
assault rifles,
rifles.
yeah. So you really can't have that if you're just like your everyday citizen. Like you have to have like a magazine that only holds like
10
yeah,
rounds, right?
something like that.
I know
Yeah,
that's in New
yeah.
Jersey. Someone else told me that for here
Yeah,
too.
and the grip looks totally different, and like,
Oh, you
yeah,
can't have like a pistol grip?
yeah,
In
you can't,
California, they have that
yeah,
paddle thing. Do you have to
yeah,
have that shit here?
yeah, you do,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
something like
gay,
that,
bro.
yeah, yeah,
That's so
yeah.
lame.
But I mean, I don't know as much about it
Ugh.
because, like, as soon as I became like a police officer, I went out and bought myself like an AR-15 type
Yeah.
of weapon or rifle. You
That
know
would
what I
have been my
mean?
first
So.
thing I bought
Yeah,
too, bro.
yeah.
It's
So,
like, I'm an American, bro.
yeah, dude. So, because I did buy my I have a Glock 19. That's my off-duty carry and stuff. So 9 mil, and I bought it in the Marines, and got it transferred over here. It stayed with a license, dealer or whatever, and they held it in a safe until I got my paperwork in order, and they gave it back to me as soon as I got my permit and stuff like that.
Nice.
But yeah,
It's cool, man.
But speaking of that, like, so I definitely should carry more than I do. I barely ever carry, and I think it does have a lot to do with just me. Like, I like to joke around, but kind of serious at the same time. I'm like, I don't need any weapons. I am the weapon. You know what I mean? As corny as it is, like, that's really how I feel in my mind. But God forbid someday, I need my pistol and I don't have it or something like that. But I rarely ever carry. But I definitely got to make that better. Especially if I go out with my daughter. We go out. To the mall or whatever the case is, I definitely need to be carrying a lot more, because I need, how that would look terrible, you know what I mean? Like something active shooter, God forbid, happens and stuff like that, and I don't have a firearm anywhere, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So
we were talking about this earlier. Rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it.
100%, definitely, and that's like one of the the best arguments, if you are having an argument about like firearms and stuff like that, why you carry, why you don't, and stuff like that. And it is a big responsibility, and I think that's another reason why I don't carry. And I know we discussed it earlier, but like going to the bathroom, and like I've heard of it happening, like Washington DC, cop leaves his pistol in the bathroom and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want that to be me. And people make mistakes, you know what I mean? I really hope your mistakes are very rare when you are carrying a pistol and stuff like that. But that's stuff that like scares me, where I just leave it at home. I don't have to deal with it. It's locked up and everything like that, and just that's it, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? So like, God, you don't want to get in fist fights out there, but you're fighting, you get fist fight, and they see a firearm, then you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you just make that worse, the situation worse, maybe, you know what I mean? So,
maybe make them more desperate, and maybe that's what causes them to pull their shit and stuff.
And you're introducing a firearm into a fight. I don't obviously condone going out there and fighting street fights or whatever, like sticking up for your honor or whatever, but if you're backed into a corner, you got to do what you got to do. You got to fight your way out of it, you know what I mean? Whether it be punches or whatever, you know what I mean? Or they got a knife at you, whatever. You do what you got to do, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I definitely should carry more. And, if I recommend you, if you do have a license or whatever, that you do it. Or if your state doesn't require you, have a license, then you do it and stuff like that. But, speaking of, just, I that, knowing jiu-jitsu, it just makes me a very, very, like, confident person. And I don't like, thinking I have a huge ego or I'm, like, arrogant or cocky or anything like that. But there is definitely something that comes with the way you walk and the way you hold yourself. If you like know that you've put a lot of time and effort into something as martial arts and stuff like that, you carry yourself a certain way. I mean, I remember seeing this video. I don't know if you saw the one where the group of people like around this like incident that was happening. It was like this homeless dude that was like trying to take a baby away from like the mother in the stroller and stuff like that. Yeah, it was like in New York City or something like that. And then you have this dude walking up, and he's got like his hands behind his back, and like he's walking towards the group of people, and he's just wicked calm, man, just wicked calm, and you can tell like he could fuck shit up and stuff like that. But what ended up happening is he took the dude down, took his back, and like put a body triangle on him, and just held him there until the police got there, and just you can see the confidence oozing off that person. And like I said, I don't like trying to be arrogant or nothing like that, but I've been told by like suspects and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, like I could tell like I didn't want to mess with you, like just your confidence and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but that's just what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the way you carry yourself is definitely a thing like that will change a person's mind on like how they're going to make their next move. Absolutely, man.
And then I've been told by other my partners or whatever, my coworkers, my friends, that hey, they mentioned you, and they told me, yeah, they didn't want to run from you because you look like you're pretty in shape, so you know what I mean, they probably wouldn't have lasted long. Or you know what I mean, like I've had people tell me, they're like, damn dude, I see that cauliflower, what do you do, boxing? I was like, nah, I do some jiu-jitsu. Sometimes they say cage fighter because I did fight in the cage, so I ain't lying about that. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? And they're like, oh shit. But I don't like do it to brag
every time, bro.
I don't do it to brag or nothing. But I just do it to like, dude, I don't want any trouble. Like, dude, just like my life is so much easier without like more paperwork, at work and stuff like that. Because like you gotta go hands on. There's more paperwork for that. You know what I mean? So I really do my best, and and try to talk to people that way. You don't ever have to go there. But sometimes you just really can't avoid it. You know what I mean? I had this dude square up to me, and I had to forcibly take him into custody and stuff like that in the middle of the road. you know, thankfully a car didn't come by and smash into us or
Yeah.
something like that. And just other than that, you know, I've been pretty lucky. No one else has squared up to me. It's usually just people becoming pork chops and not wanting to get in
Yeah.
cuffs or something like that, and like just
Belligerent
dumping
drunks.
them. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
would say wrestling has helped me way more than jiu-jitsu has. But you know, what I'm thankful for jiu-jitsu is it keeps me mentally and physically sharp. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I know we just discussed it earlier, but like I have like a few moves that are like my go-to moves that where like they have worked like mostly every single time. So that way I didn't need to, you know, chain another move to what didn't work. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know, at my seminar, I showed them like a chain, like if this doesn't work, go to this. You know what I mean? Where someone that isn't as proficient in something, if this doesn't work, maybe this will work or something like that. So that's why I had shown that technique and not just be like, hey, this worked for me, it's going to work for you. It's more like, hey, if this doesn't work for you, try this one, hopefully this works. If it doesn't, go to here or something like that.
Mhm.
And yeah, so
No, that's awesome, man. So I think we glanced over this a little bit. I was just curious. I'll ask it again. In Oswego County, like, what are some of the really common like crimes that you see there?
okay, just nothing too crazy. You know, you don't really get too much shootings and stuff like that. I would say
Yeah.
most just, you know, your petty larceny and stuff, you know, stealing whatever
Mm.
from like someone, you know, burglaries, stealing, you know, from people's houses, breaking in, stealing their, you know, stuff like that. And you know, there is a pretty prevalent like drug, you know, problem up there and everything like that.
What drugs?
Molly right now, man. That's pretty.
Really?
Oh man, that's like
A
everyone
lot of
is like,
raves going
yeah.
on.
Well, I don't. It's a lot of partying. And, you know, I've
Uh,
seen it. A lot of these, like, you know, the people that do it. You know what I mean. I don't know if you can get addicted to Molly, but maybe it's just addicted to that lifestyle. Like they want to party and they want to
yeah.
like, you know, be acting like
This is how we turn it on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. And that's their life they know. And it's unfortunate because you see them doing this and like all their other responsibilities, you know, don't matter. And you know, the biggest one is like kids. Like if you have a kid, you shouldn't be out there partying drugs and like Molly and having a great time. You know, you should be, you know, having a job and like providing for your kids and stuff like that. And I've seen that a
Yeah.
lot, which is unfortunate. But Molly is definitely the number one drug. It used to be heroin when I first started back in like
Mm.
2014. Heroin was huge, but
Yeah,
I
that's
think
rough, man.
yeah, and now it's this Molly stuff that like I really don't even know what's in that stuff, but like that's what they're using now because it's a lot cheaper than heroin and it still gets you that, you know, a high and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and these people are, you know, stealing, you know what I mean, like to get this this drug. And you know, they'll go out and, you know, what they steal a lot is like power tools and stuff like that, and
That's
like
funny.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then they pawn it off or whatever the case is they do with it and stuff like that. They'll steal a lot of catalytic converters and stuff like that. Like it's crazy. I
The
don't even like
platinum.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I don't even know, like, you know, I get
Who
calls
does
like
that shit?
yeah, well, I
Oh,
don't
dude, my friend just told me that happened to him.
damn.
He was in the military with me. He
Okay.
doesn't really do jujitsu, but
Okay.
he knew some things. But he said he put the fucking dude in a headlock because the dude he just came out his house and the dude was literally chopping that shit off
Damn.
on his car like
Yeah.
while like it happened. And he like this is a funny story. I won't mention my boy's name, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
tell the
no.
story because
Okay,
it's fucking
yeah.
hilarious. So he walks out and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the dude had this fucking catalytic converter. He realized what happened, ran to the dude's car, grabbed the keys out the ignition, and launched him.
Damn.
And then like now it's like, oh shit, the guy like knew like, oh, like I'm in a this is fucked up. Like
Yeah.
now like I need to fucking find those keys. So my buddy ended up like, putting him in a headlock or something and calling the cops and like they came or something. Like I can't remember exactly how it happened. Or like I don't know, because like the guy was like running around a car or some shit
Okay,
like that, like
yeah.
and like trying not to get caught. And so he
Uh-huh.
called the cops. He's like, "What are you gonna fucking do, bro? Like you're not going nowhere, and like your car's here, and that shit's like to you. Like the dude was fucked.
Yeah, no doubt.
He like left his phone. Like they had gotten
Oh,
a scuffle,
shit.
and his phone fell out the pocket. I can't remember the whole story, but God, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Who the
no,
fuck does that in
dude,
broad daylight? Yeah.
I really, I mean, I haven't really
wild.
solved any of those crimes. I know what like our investigators do. They've solved those, you know what I mean, those crimes and stuff like that. But I really wonder what they do with them. Like they bring it to a scrap yard and like,
Must
you know,
be,
there's
yeah.
no serial numbers on them. You know what I mean? To where, you know what I mean? Like you bring
can't
something to a
track
pawn
'em,
shop, you
yeah.
gotta like their serial number on the TV's gotta, you know, get entered and everything like that. Which I've caught like people pawning stuff off and found them and then arrested them for pawning off a stolen
cool,
thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So, but yeah, like they'll do that, just whatever to, you know, feed that drug. I don't know if it's a habit or just, you know, lifestyle habit or something. When it comes to something like that, like heroin, obviously addictive, but this Molly, I don't know if it's addictive. I have never heard that, but it's just the lifestyle can be addictive to these people, and just partying and like committing crimes, and they enjoy doing it. They really do. They, you know, that they find enjoyment of like living that type of lifestyle. But that's mostly, you know, so you deal with that, and then I would say, but the most calls we respond to are domestic related incidents, and those are the most volatile. You know, there's been shootings, you know, of police officers, and you know, that I like know like areas around us of where they're like domestic related and stuff like that, shooting at the cops that show up and stuff like that.
That's
so
fucking crazy.
yeah, it sucks. And like I said, everything, like, you know, you can get those calls at any fucking time of the day, you know what I mean? Like, you know, in the evening, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, you know what I mean? So it could be any time of the day you get those calls and stuff like that. So I would say domestics and pet larcenies are probably the most common incidents we respond to.
So man, that's pretty wild, dude. So like it's interesting. I always think like even myself, like I've never had to use jujitsu in like a real life situation, like thank God. Like I've been in fights like back when I didn't train and I was a fucking idiot kid. But yeah, like now, like I think about it, and it's one of those things where it's like I'm like a blue belt in BJJ, but I think I'm like a purple belt in de-escalation.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like like you said, you carry yourself in a way like, dude, like I don't want to use these skills, but like I will make it so your knees fucked up for the rest of your life, bro.
Yeah,
you don't
no
want
doubt.
me to fucking heel hook you
No,
or whatever.
I could never imagine you being in a confrontation. You're so
Yeah.
chill and stuff like that. But there's people out there that'll just like, they don't give a fuck, and they'll be
man.
confrontational. So where you didn't want to be, but you know what I mean, you're backed in a corner or something like that.
Dude.
But
I'll fuck someone up. But like if I'm busking and they fucking like try to take my guitar or some shit, like that's the one time you'll see like the viral video of the Bard fucking somebody up.
yeah, no
They
doubt.
fuck up my guitar. I'm like, oh motherfucker, I'm taking a finger off you.
So we there's this thing that's pretty common in the police world is verbal judo. You know what I mean?
That's
being,
funny.
Being
Yeah,
able to
verbal
talk
judo.
to someone, you know
like
what I
that,
mean,
yeah.
and you know, not having to, you know, escalate to anything like going hands on or nothing like that. So it's definitely like I said, I was never really like amazing at talking to people or whatever, and I still don't think I'm amazing, but I've gotten a lot better in that way. You know, you talk to people and they understand. You know what I mean? You're human just like them.
Bro.
Like you don't got to be out there being a robot and
do you have advice you can give people that maybe like were in your situation where they were having trouble like de-escalating? Like what are some things that you kind of found, like some patterns, like, oh, this is how I should approach this?
Even if they're yelling, you don't have to meet them at their like level of like the sound of, you know what I mean, like how loud they are and stuff like that. If you stay calm, you know, that'll calm some people down. Like sometimes, you know, in the rare instances it might not, but I'm just saying, like, people yell at me, I ain't yelling. I've probably raised my voice twice in the 7 years I've been working as a cop and stuff like that.
And it's like when your knees on their back and they're like being uncompliant or some shit.
Sometimes not even then.
Yeah, damn,
sometimes
bro.
I'm still calm and stuff like that.
Like,
but it's
like, man, I need that hand, bro.
Yeah.
Don't make me break this.
Yeah. No, there was this one time this dude like over at this like apartment complex we go to a lot. He was like, he called me. Well, he called
that
me.
complex,
Right? I don't want to put people on blast and stuff like that. So he called me to like help him out because like his ex-girlfriend stole like a ton of his stuff, and like I'm like right there like talking to him, and then like some guy starts chirping at him from another apartment, and then he's like my complainant, the guy who called, starts talking crap to the other dude, and like they start going at each other, you know what I mean? And then I'm like sitting there in my car like trying to like type something up real quick and like, you know, getting the statement ready or something like that. And then he's like, the caller, he was like, I don't give a fuck if the cops here, I'm gonna beat your ass and shit like that. And I get in my car, I'm like, you know, I don't know if I swore or not, maybe not, but I'm like, you know, get back, you know, near your house. I can't believe you're like starting shit with people when I'm here and stuff like that. Like do you not have respect for like I came here to help you? You know what I mean? You're gonna make my job a lot harder and stuff like that. Oh,
it's like, man, you're adding mad paperwork to me right now, motherfucker.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was more like a respecting, like, how are you gonna call me and ask for my help and then come out here and like commit like some sort of violation of the law in front of me? You know what I mean? Like, I was pissed, you know what I mean? But that was like one of the only times I ever raised my voice. I don't really raise my voice too much and stuff like that. But I would say just you know, do your best to stay calm in that situation. And you know, just because they're hyped up doesn't mean you need to be hyped up. You know what I mean? So that's probably the number one, you know, thing that I can tell anyone in that instance. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yo, let me ask you some advice, man. How can I avoid like criminals like fucking with my bus, like the larceny specifically, right? Like I don't want no one breaking in here and then I have to choke them.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
I would say definitely cameras are a good deterrent. Like, I
Cool.
hope
Yeah,
no
yeah.
criminals are watching right now. Like, you could put some dummy cameras even, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, 'cause
No,
it's gonna,
I'm
well,
definitely
it would be
planning
tough.
on it. Yeah, I'm
to-
definitely planning. Like, I have the solar power, so like I have the means.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right. I was gonna
Nah,
say, I don't
yeah.
know how you get electricity in here
Yeah,
like
nah,
that, but
dude,
you know,
the sun
yeah, like,
comes up and charges me up every day, bro.
yeah, but like, I'm just saying, like, that would be a
That
good
is a
deterrent.
great. That
you
is
know
a
what I
great
mean?
idea. I have plans to implement that. Like I don't even have a toilet yet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The
yeah.
build is far from done. I haven't even given you the tour yet. I'll give
Okay.
it to you then.
Well,
but-
and then even
yeah.
put like what are they called, like the floodlights or whatever, like that. Just like
oh,
if
like
it,
shit that turns on.
yeah,
like,
with
as a
any motion and
reactant.
stuff
yeah,
like that. You
yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like if my bus had that and someone came up to it, that would definitely make them be like, all right, fuck this. Bro.
Yeah, yeah.
This shit's some high tech ass
Yeah.
bullshit on this motherfucker.
And throw some like MMA stickers outside or
Yeah.
something like that, or some jiu-jitsu, because I'm
For
like, I don't
sure.
want to fuck with this dude or
Yeah.
something like that. You
Oh,
know
you
what I
gotta
mean?
see the side. I have like this Pulp Fiction sticker right above you, or the poster.
Oh, okay. with
That's
the
like on
band.
the side of the
Oh,
fucking
nice,
bus. So like
nice.
maybe that's like a good start.
But hey, can we take just a minute pause? I gotta take a piss real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, definitely,
so
definitely.
I definitely want to like.
Yeah, I'll give the sponsors another shout out.
Okay,
Just,
all right,
just
sounds
go ahead and head out, man. Yeah, man. So another giant shout out I just want to give to my man Vedinian. If you guys like creative writing, if you like sci-fi, if you like horror, he also has a Twitch channel. Make sure you go subscribe to his Twitch channel as well. Awesome stuff. He plays all kinds of RPGs and awesome stuff. And he's been on the podcast as well. I believe he is episode 8. I could be wrong. But Chris Vega, Vedinian, check him out, man. Awesome guy. Additionally, if you guys want to check out my Patreon, that link is in the description. I have a $1 a month tier, man. If you think I'm worth $1 a month for giving you guys this content, driving around the U.S., finding all these awesome guests and everything, yo, please hook me up. And then I have even more packages. And then also don't forget about the merch. If you want some Bard merch, I'm not wearing any right now, but I have the stickers that you can see. There's links in the description to get hooked up with those stickers as well. So make sure you guys check that stuff out. And one more shout out to my guys over at Valley Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, if you want to try out jiu-jitsu, if you're a police officer especially, we have some officers in that gym. And if you just want an opportunity to roll with some like really awesome dudes, my coach, Andrew Cockle, is a world-class competitor. And I've been traveling around a lot, and I got to say, man, I've been to so many gyms, and there's something that just always keeps calling me back to that room, man. And it's something about the juju in there, I think. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. Randomly just smack dab in the middle of Allentown, Pennsylvania. And one more shout out to my man Sam Diefenbach. Check him out on Instagram if you guys want some massages. He's also a athletic trainer and can give you some awesome advice on that stuff. Welcome back, brother.
Thanks. I feel a lot better right now.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I've been there, man. I've been there. Just flip that mic around when you get a chance. You can turn it too, like toward your.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can maneuver it like this. Yeah, there you go. Cool.
There's something I wanted to discuss too. So
Yeah,
I
shoot.
make sure- so-
Please bring anything up that you
Okay.
want as well. Like
Okay.
anything you want to talk about. Ask me weird shit. I'm a weird guy.
So I obviously, you know, I'll always like push jiu-jitsu in our line of work and being a cop and stuff. That's like one of the best things you can do as a police officer. If not staying in shape or whatever, anything physical to keep you in shape and stuff, which I think, you know, translate to having, you know, being mentally sharp as well. But
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu in itself, like starting jiu-jitsu out can be daunting. And I've heard it before from other people. It's like being a cop, like you're going to have a big ego. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, of
we're like
course,
type
yeah.
A personality type of people. I like to, you know, think of myself A, B type of, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm wicked chill. So, but anyways, so people don't want to go in like, especially being like type A and like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta win and stuff. Going into like a situation like jiu-jitsu and like getting, you know, being like 180, you know, big buff dude, you know, getting your butt beat by a skinny, scrawny dude, you know,
Yeah,
purple
yeah,
belt,
yeah.
brown belt, you know what I mean? So I can understand how that could be daunting and stuff, but it's like, you just got to get in there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you'll get better. And I got a really good buddy of mine, Ryan, and he's a cop that works with me, and like he started jiu-jitsu about 6 months ago, and he's improved so much, and it's so awesome like to see like someone like that I saw from the beginning and like them improving and them being a cop and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? And he's starting to like learn technique and like chaining it together, and you know, and it's just awesome because like, you know what I mean? Like I said, it can be daunting like when you're always like, you gotta, have this mentality, always winning, or like, you know what I mean, like never losing and stuff like that, and then going in there and just getting your butt kicked, and it just like, it tests your ego or whatever, like, you know what I mean, and as far as like even hobbies, like I was thinking about it, if someone tried to get me in like sailboat and stuff like that, I'm not gonna be interested. So for some people, like, it's just not a hobby of theirs or whatever. Like, it's no interest of them. But if you have any interest in it, I definitely recommend you doing jiu-jitsu 100%. If you're in this line of work or any line of work that is stressful, you know what I mean. So I honestly could not imagine my life without any jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, dude, I'll even like a testament to that. I think I don't know if I was saying this when the podcast was running. I know we were in the bus when I mentioned it, but yeah, man, like when I lost my job, like I was depressed. Yeah, I was saying like the music scene, like music became illegal, like you couldn't perform anywhere. So like I stopped playing guitar for a long time during COVID, and man, like I was like on I don't want to say like a downward spiral, but like my mood was severely affected. Like I was more easily stressed out by shit and just kind of like questioning like my path. And then I'll give a giant shout out to my man Matt DeVory and the Black Basement Crew.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He runs Ambush Jiu-Jitsu in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Great dude, man. He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, we're starting an underground open mat. I'm not gonna say where."
Yeah,
but,
no doubt.
He hit me up and was like, "Yo, like we're doing this underground open mat. Like it would be cool to catch up with you. Like it's been a while. And we're all friends here. Like definitely come out and train." And I'm so happy I did, because man, like I remember going and training and just like getting my ass kicked and learning just a lot of shit, and I just remembering like, man, like there's something about jiu-jitsu where it's like you're tested and you're a better person afterwards. It's
100%.
just, man, it just.
Yeah.
I was only going like once a week, but man, like that Wednesday, I was like looking forward to it every week. Like I'm like, oh man, like I kind of want to get the podcast going again. Like everything's coming together, and it was like
awesome.
a 2.5-hour drive. Like I didn't give a fuck. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just listen to a Joe Rogan podcast on the way out there, and then we're just gonna roll for a few hours, eat Indian food, and then I'll come back for 1 a.m. or some shit.
And I think like, people that do jiu-jitsu, I would say most of them, like, COVID ain't gonna stop us, like as far as like wanting to be there or being there, you know what I mean? Because like, jiu-jitsu can be like, it's an amazing sport, but it can also be very like, you know what I mean? I don't know the right word I want to use, but as far as like someone sweat on you, you know what I mean? Like someone else's sweat, you know what I mean? Blood and all this stuff like that. We're already like, been through that or whatever, and if you've been in it long enough, you're accustomed to it as nasty, as it can be and stuff like that, with the ringworm and staph and all that stuff.
Have you ever gotten a staph infection?
I did,
bro.
Yeah,
that's why, and I tell people this too. Like, man, jiu-jitsu people are so worried about like viruses and shit already, but we're clean folks.
Yeah,
and like every time I roll with you and your sweats get on me, like my body's like incubating your germs. So, like,
okay,
you know what I mean? Like my immune system knows Tomas's shit, so it's gonna be hard to get like sick. And with that said, I think I think when I got COVID, I got it at my jiu-jitsu gym, or someone had it and it transferred to a lot of us. But dude, like, we killed it. Like everyone in my gym like said, man, I had a headache for a couple of days and it was over. You know what I mean? So like you're smacking the strain, that strain that hits your group. It's hitting a very similar immune system across these people, genetics aside. You know what I mean?
No
like, it's an interesting way to look at it. I think, I don't know personally, and I'm sure like there's stories out there, but I don't know any jiu-jitsu people who got like really critically affected by COVID.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know people that got it and they were kind of maybe, in bed, feeling sick for a little bit, but they got over it and stuff like that. But what I was trying to like say is like, allegedly, my training really didn't pause. Like I found some good underground places and I was still training through it all. I had to, man, like in my line of work, like, or any stressful, anyone that, works in a stressful situation or jobs, you know what I mean? You need that. Like, and that's what I needed. That was my outlet and stuff like that.
The outlet, right? You don't want to take that shit out on a guy you're pulling over.
Definitely not. Or like, be more, anger or something like that, or be more angry or whatever. But so, I may or may not have found some like some underground jiu-jitsu places, and this shit ain't gonna stop me. You know what I mean? And my mom, she was wicked, like strict on it, and she didn't want us doing anything going out or nothing like that and stuff. But I was thankful for those guys that reached out to me and like, hey, we're having this underground,
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu thing, and like, come if you want, you know what I mean? And I was there all the time and stuff like that, wherever it was, allegedly. So
Yeah, wherever it was alleged.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so
Oh, shit.
yeah, I don't want anyone from the health department knocking on my door or nothing
Yo,
like
for
that.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure, man.
but no, I definitely, grateful for that, like the jiu-jitsu community, you know what I mean? And I've met a lot of great people through it, like trained out in Southern California, and I was on the Marine Corps grappling team for 2 months. It was supposed to be a 6-month stint, but they closed it down or whatever, like they deactivated the
And that was
grappling
like
team.
way before COVID. This is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
back in
this is like
2014.
2012 and stuff,
2012,
like right
okay.
before I was getting out of the Marine Corps and stuff like that, and just never looked back. And trained there, moved out here, and where I lived in Oswego, they had a new jiu-jitsu gym there, and yeah, there wasn't much. I never really took any downtime from jiu-jitsu, and like even through like I was an idiot, and like I got LASIK when I was in the Marine Corps, and then like they told me, all right, you can't like do anything like grappling related for like 30 days or something like that. You need to give your eyes time to heal. And I was like back at it like 10 days later. I'm like, fuck this. And
fuck
like,
this.
and someone had, I remember, like, I'll never forget, like someone had me in like north south, and their like shoulder or something was like pressing right into my eyeball. And I'm like, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, and I've had injuries where I
Yeah.
just like powered through it. And I might be paying for it now. I still deal with like back issues here and there and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's got a lot better. As time went on, like I found like workouts that help out with it and stuff like that. But like, but
was it one of those things like that day that you went back? Oh, I'm just gonna drill today.
Yeah,
10
but
minutes later, you're
yeah, you're
fucking
like,
rolling with the
yeah.
heaviest dude there.
And that's how it is. Like for
Yeah.
me, like wrestling, you know what I mean. In high school, like when I was younger, I could get over injuries a lot faster and stuff like that. But now it takes a lot longer and stuff like that. And but I'll go through it, and maybe I'll pay for it when I'm in my 40s. But I do plan on opening up my own gym someday and stuff. Maybe
That's awesome, man.
if I get a new position where I work, where I'm not, I work crazy hours, like a swing shift, going from days and nights, working 12-hour shifts and stuff like that. I think if I am able to find like a desk job, like in the future, I'll open up my own gym and stuff like that. And right now, I just want to compete and get better as a whole. You know what I mean? Maybe fill in for classes if you know what I mean, if the case arises and stuff like that, and just hone my teaching skills, and like I said, I was really nervous about teaching my first seminar. I've never had really any teaching, I'm pretty basic when it comes to a road patrol deputy. I'm not like certified in like defensive tactics or anything like that. I'm comfortable with a firearm, but I wouldn't feel comfortable teaching someone it. But I was wicked, like as soon as I was like teaching, it just became second nature to tell people like the technique or whatever, and show it and stuff like that. So I'm grateful for that, and just jiu-jitsu, and like like I don't like going hands on for the paperwork, or just being able to talk to people, you know what I mean? Like I said, and that's number one. Always, I'll tell everyone, just learn to talk to people and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
but I am grateful
definitely.
for the jiu-jitsu part of it and everything like that. And maybe someday, it interests me of maybe running my own company where I go and teach people stuff. You know what I mean? Because
Dude, that's awesome. I know I've already had people on the podcast who are that train law enforcement officers, and he does like gun centric things. This is Phil Groff from Vigor, and I was telling him like, yo, why, like, he does jujitsu, and I'm like, why isn't jujitsu a part of your course, bro?
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
he's like, dude, because like he's a blue belt. He's like, yeah, man, it's not my bag, but there are guys that do it, and I'm like, man, I think it would be dope as fuck to do like a simunition thing where I'm allowed to grapple, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
I would love to fuck with that. Hey, like, and I'm like, also, I feel like I'm in the vast majority of jiu-jitsu people, like what brought me to the sport was just I wanted to be competent in a self-defense situation. You know what I mean? It was only after that and, rolling a bunch and doing like my first couple of tournaments that I decided, yo, like, this is actually something I'm passionate about. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think if you get most people, if you try it out, you'll be hooked and stuff like that. And just being able to, like, even if you work at whatever desk job or whatever, at least like having a family and being confident to like being able to defend your family in a situation that you're not asking for, but it's presenting itself to you. You know what I mean? You're out to dinner or something like that, and someone like attacks you, and it happens. Like when I'm with my daughter, like I don't like having my back to people, but if I'm like get seated where I have to have my back to like people walking by, like I'm always like looking in like the window or something like that, because people are random as fuck, man. Like they'll like you don't know who's out there and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and attack me from behind or something like that, and I'm with
Yeah.
my daughter or something, so I'm
Yo,
always
for
more
sure.
cognizant when I have her. So I'm just speaking as far as like being able to defend your family if the case
Yeah.
arises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yo,
I'll
this.
always
Yeah. Go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
I'll always preach
Yeah.
jujitsu, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and definitely 100%.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, is there like a like for cops out there, like, or even just like, I'm just curious. This is
Mhm.
like a silly question almost. But like, is there a drug like that you're like most worried about? Like, if someone's on like PCP or something versus like meth versus like fucking being drunk. Like, what creates the most dangerous like asshole?
I would say like I've never personally been like in an incident where someone's on PCP or something, but I've been in situations where they're on drugs and they're strong. Anyone, even if they're not on drugs, to put someone in handcuffs that doesn't want to go in handcuffs, it's still going to be hard. Whether it be like a juvenile, you know what I mean, that you have to take in custody. I've had to bring them for like juveniles and for like mental health stuff, you know what I mean, threatening to kill themselves or something, like
Oh
trying to
wow.
kill themselves or something, and they're fighting, and thankfully, like I would say 99% of situations I've been in, like I've never had to do any like strikes or anything like that to someone and stuff like that. It just
Hmm.
doesn't look good, but also like for me, I'm proficient or whatever, comfortable with just grappling and stuff like that. But um, yeah. So, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
I was just saying, like, what drug is the worst like to
Oh,
deal with
uh,
in your experience?
just any drug, to be
Anything,
honest.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like like I
You
said,
think
it's
like
prevalent.
what makes people like the most reckless in your experience, kind of shit?
Probably heroin when
Heroin, really?
they're on the heroin
Wow.
and they're just acting all erratic and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you can obviously tell from the get go, you know what I mean, and your calls come in and they'll try to, dispatchers will try to give you as much intel and stuff, and even like your asshole drunk and stuff like that, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, with the beer
Yeah.
muscles and everything like
Yeah, of
that. So
course. I
yeah.
was guessing kind of like that might be the one, but it's interesting to hear like the heroin, just because like maybe they're not even in like the state of mind
Yeah.
that like is like a normal like reasonable state
Yeah.
of mind. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like
but but
logic escapes them.
but I've seen like the incidents where like it takes 6 cops to take this person in custody, and that's what
Yeah.
like I've told people, like, maybe an RNC, like, because an effective RNC, you're not going to be like choking out their windpipe or whatever, you know what I mean? You're gonna
Yeah.
attack the carotid and they'll go
Yeah.
out. I've been in that
Yeah.
situation as far as like practice, and like I get put out and I come to and I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But like, if someone's like cutting off my air, that's when you know what I mean, that's pretty deadly, I would say. More so than a carotid where they just go out and they're limp and stuff with the air, you know what I mean? Like you're gasping for that air and stuff like that, and like I think it's more dangerous,
Yeah.
100%. So, but like I was saying, like where that could have probably stopped the person from like being all erratic and hurt himself or other people and stuff like that. Like an effective technique like that could just end the situation, get him in cuffs, and like you know what I mean. So, yeah, I'm thankful for every like incident that I've had. Like like I said, sometimes it's me by myself and stuff like that, and I can handle the situation and stuff like that. And you necessarily don't have to be like a 10-year jiu-jitsu practitioner like I am, but like just having like a couple of years, being maybe like a well-rounded white belt or blue
Yeah.
belt and stuff like that, you'll handle the situation a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If only you get to the gym maybe once or twice a week, but
Hmm.
for me, I'm in there like 10 times a week, you know what I mean? Because our gym
Yeah.
offers morning and evening classes, and we work gi as much as we do no gi, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that, because a lot of gyms out there, I think they just touch on the no gi a little bit, but they're mostly like gi type gyms
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's interesting. A lot of the ones I visit is actually reversed. But let me ask you this: what do you think is more relevant to law enforcement, gi or no gi training?
I would say no gi, you know what I mean, because I've talked to other police officers who may have trained or do train and stuff like that, and they say, oh, with a jacket you can apply, like a cross collar, technique or something like that. But what if they don't have a jacket, they're t-shirt, or they're not wearing a shirt or something like that? So I would say nogi definitely, and nogi is a lot more higher paced. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
going to take more
That.
conditioning and
Yeah.
everything like that. So I would say definitely nogi if you had to practice either or. I like doing both, obviously,
Hmm.
but nogi definitely,
Hmm.
just for the conditioning, and
Yeah.
then like you don't have those materials like a jacket every
Yeah.
time and stuff like that, which I've never had to do any of the those techniques from gi or nothing, but for like nogi, you know what I mean, takedowns, like you know what I mean, like because with gi, you know, you have those throws with the jacket and everything like that
like
they might not have.
judo-centric stuff.
Yeah.
And then you don't know if it's like a flimsy like jacket that's gonna rip when you grab it, kind of thing. Not everything's as thick as a gi. That's interesting.
And also, I did want to touch on, I do have noticed in like a lot of the videos, like a lot of people are very tool oriented, or like tool dependent is the word I'm trying to think of. So like they'll automatically go for their taser or something like that. You know what I mean? And like once, oh shit, the taser isn't working, the baton isn't working, the pepper spray isn't working. You know what I mean? And then what else have they got now? They got the only tool they haven't used is the firearm and stuff like that. So I would.
You think that's like a bad mentality in general?
Yeah.
You see that pretty commonly?
Me personally, not so much as far as like that's concerned, but like the taser usually works more times than it doesn't. But when it doesn't, you know, you're in that oh shit moment. And I've seen videos where like they lose control of their taser, they drop it or something, and now the guy can grab the taser, and it just makes the whole incident a lot worse. So personally, me, I've only used a taser once, and it worked. It was very effective. But
do you want to tell the story?
Yeah. So I was at a Walmart, and
of course.
the asset protection guy, you know what I mean? I don't, how to describe it? It's like the guy who's like watching for the thieves on the cameras or like in person or whatever. I met with him outside, and he's like, he's me coming out right this door. So, and he has a backpack full of stolen merchandise. And so I'm like, okay. So as soon as the suspect stepped outside, I'm like, that definitely, you know, based upon what this guy's telling me, he said he'll give me a statement and everything. So I'm like, I got charges on this dude. So as soon as he walked out, I'm like, hey, you come over here. He looked at me over his shoulder and saw me, and he was like, oh, fuck, and started just fucking booking it. And he was only wearing like, tennis shoes and like sweatpants and a t-shirt. And here I am with like, you know, however much pounds on my
full kit.
And I'm like, and he just booked it. And I'm like running after him, and I'm like, hey, stop, police. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and he stripped his backpack off with the stolen merchandise, and I'm still chasing him. And like,
damn, he dropped the bag.
Yeah.
And he's like, take this. He's like, I ain't taking the bait, dude.
And he juked me out in the parking lot.
Oh man.
And there was video on it and everything. So my boots, like, they're like, you know, it's a lot easier to run in like just sneakers or something.
Of course.
But I got tripped up on my boots, and then like I fell and I smashed into the cart corral.
Man.
And because he went in between the cart corral and a car. So then I'm like, I had to like, you know, because he knew what he wanted to do. I'm reacting to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so then
of course.
I got up, and I'm still chasing him, and he's got like 15 feet on me, and we ran into the woods because there's like this wooded area over there.
Yeah.
And like a week or 2 weeks before that, there was a similar incident, but
same guy?
No, I don't think so. And so he ran into there, but he got into there before that wooded area, before the cops even showed up. So we set up a perimeter, and like we tried to wait this dude out or go into there and find him and stuff. And they called like the canines out to try to track this dude out in the woods or whatever. It's like a wooded area, but it's like you can
only go so far.
Yeah, because you can set a perimeter on it. But I'm like, I'm not fucking gonna set no perimeter. I'm gonna get this dude. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's fucking funny.
So I'm running, and a lot of like police, like, you know, whatever, like incidents, you'll fall back on your training and stuff. So we go out there, I'm running after him into the woods, and he's got like 15-20 feet on me at this point because I ate shit out in the parking lot. And I'm like, fuck that, I ain't sent no perimeter, nothing like that. I'm gonna get him, and I still got eyes on him. So I, you know, and this is crazy because like you're like all the adrenaline rush, you know what I mean? And like I had enough, you know, sense to take out my taser and be like, hey, stop, or you're gonna get tasered and stuff. And I'm, you know, saying this shit, and it's crazy because we're like full sprint. I'm full sprint. And I take it out, and you know, there's a red dot when you're using the taser.
Yeah, like the crimson trace.
Yeah. So I don't remember seeing the red dot, but I had my taser up, and he wouldn't stop after I told him twice, hey, stop, you're gonna get tased. And I hit the trigger right there on the taser, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. It was crazy, and just he was there, and I went back to my training, and you know, you take off the cartridge in training, and you put a new one on and stuff like that. And that's not what you want to do. You want to keep that cartridge on because
you can redistribute.
You can if you hit the trigger again, because trigger pull is 5 second. You know, the currents are going through there or whatever. So I should have kept it on there So that way, if he
How
got
many
up and ran-
cartridges do you have? Like,
Two.
so if you miss one in, like 2 and 1 in the pipe,
one on,
so to
and then
speak.
yeah, and then one's on the kind of like the pistol grip or whatever, the
Oh,
the
okay.
taser grip here. There's one underneath there, and
How does it work? I've never actually seen one.
So there's safety on your
Yeah.
left side
Mhm.
typically. That you just flick it with your thumb, and
Yeah.
so that's how it works, and then you just pull the trigger and it comes
Mhm.
out. There's two probes that come out. One, you want to get a good stick on the upper half of the body, and then one on the lower, and I got a good spread,
got a
and
good
it hit him.
spread, yeah.
So it was a good hit.
Yeah. So
And
like to remove the cartridge, you just like slide it out, and then the bottom one, you just
there's
pop
like
back in.
there, you grip it with your thumb and your index finger, and you just put
Pinch kind of
yeah,
thing.
pinch on the sides, and you can take that one off and you put the other
Yeah.
one on and stuff like that. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And looking back, like, you know, thinking about what I could have done
Like
better.
logically, you
yeah,
fucked
yeah,
up, but
yeah.
the
I should-
training was to
y- y-
reload.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and that's like falling back on your training. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
for me, like, you know, you get that training with the taser, but I'm way more proficient just going hands on with someone and stuff like that. That it's second nature to me. I don't ever have to think about it. You know what I mean? It's just doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
for
that's
sure.
I'm pretty fortunate, you know, to have started jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like automatic to me. Whatever situation. And there's never really been a situation since I've been a cop where in the streets, not working or whatever, that I've had to like defend myself or something, because I don't really put myself out there in those types of situations. All I really do is like maybe definitely train and maybe get something to eat or something, go hang out with some friends at the restaurant or something like that, get something to
Yeah.
eat. So I don't really put myself, I'm not out late or nothing like that at the bars, because
Yeah.
obviously nothing really good comes of like late
Yeah.
night drinking, you know what I mean? So
What's
yeah.
that saying though? Like, no good story started with a glass of milk.
I never heard that, but that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Well,
so,
let's go back to the story. Like, so you reloaded the cartridge. What happened? Did
uh,
it get up?
Oh no, he stayed down, and
Oh,
I
he
was like,
better
I
have.
was
I was
like,
gonna say.
I was like, don't move, and then he's like, why'd you tase me? I'm like, dude, I told you, man. I said,
Twice.
yeah,
I
I
told
said,
you twice.
yeah, I said, well, I told him twice I was gonna tase her,
Oh,
but I told
shit.
him out in the parking lot, just stop, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna
Why'd
get
you
away. And
tase
so
me?
yeah,
Like, motherfucker, the audacity on this.
yeah, and he started like saying like, I'll work with you. I know, you know, drug, you know, dealers. I'll give you names and stuff like that. I'm like, just shut up for a second. And I told him, I was like, dude,
That's
just shut up
funny
for a
as hell.
second. I need to calm down. So I'm like trying to like bring myself
Yeah.
down and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then this other a trooper showed up and helped me out, put him in cuffs and everything like that. And yeah, I smashed up my palm pretty good. It was all cut up, and my knee was all jacked up when I fell
When
on the
he
ground and
juked
stuff
you,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, he did.
It's
And like
one for one, motherfucker.
so that's the only tasing incident that I had. And like, you know, and I did have you know, some coworkers, friends of mine being like, damn, because they heard it on the radio, you know what I mean? Did Garcia really use his taser? Because they know, like, I really don't use my taser. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I just go, you know, you had to take someone down and put them in cuffs pretty easy and stuff like that. And, you know,
Yeah.
and
So what they do was pretty compliant after that.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
So did he do it? What was in his backpack? Just cupcakes?
Oh, just like, I mean, it sucks, but you know, people like, you know, he was a drug addict and stuff like that, and he had like I think he had some tools in there, but he also had like
The power tools.
yeah, he had
That's
like
crazy.
some like a bag of like Hanes underwear or something like that, you know what I mean? Like
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
like new stuff, like just wanted clothes for himself, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
and he already been trespassed from there, so it ended up being a burglary because he was already trespassed.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
man.
So if it's like your first offense, you just get the larceny if they want you arrested or not. And then if you get trespassed from it, then it turns into a felony burglary. So yeah,
Damn.
so that's what he got. He got that charge, and then I saw him like 2 weeks later doing the same thing, but this time I caught him before he made it out the front vestibule there and stuff like that. And I said, you know, hey, I already know you, man. Like
Yeah, it's like, man.
and it was like 1 in the morning. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, came over here because I wanted to talk to the greeter. I'm like, dude, it's 1 in the morning. Come on, man. You ain't talking no greeter. You
Yeah.
got that tote full of fucking stolen shit and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But that one was easier than chasing him down and everything like that. So yeah, that's my only taser story. So
Yeah, that's a good story,
yeah,
man. Thank
no,
you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I've been doing 7 years, so I've seen some stuff. Not, you know, and the job does take, you know, not a lot. Not that it takes a lot from you, but it, you know, it definitely stresses you out and stuff like that. You know, I haven't, you know, been to like, you know, Syracuse or some big city where, you know, you see a lot of shootings, dead people and stuff like that. But I've seen my fair share of like accidents where someone died and stuff, and it sucks. Like the
wow.
one that I handled or whatever was like this dude that was like doing everything right. He's just going home in his truck and stuff like that, and this dude runs a stop sign, smashes into his truck, which they get sent flying. Well, the truck gets sent flying into the opposite lane and gets hit by an oil tanker, and like, yeah, he dies. And the guy who like ran the stop sign was like, he lived and everything like that. And it's just unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I, saw that, and
Hate to
just
see
like,
it.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like other stuff too. Like, you know what I mean. It takes a toll, and like I said, I'm thankful I have jujitsu to like, you know what I mean, like help out with that stress or whatever, dealing with it and stuff like that. And I really, that's good. Like if other people can find like outlets for that stress and stuff like that, like, hopefully it's not stuff like taken to the bottle or whatever, you know what I mean. But for me, jiu-jitsu is definitely my outlet, and it helps me out, you know what I mean, like just was it decompressing or something like that. So
yeah.
I just, it's crazy that like people, not everyone has that, but that's just the way, like, because I'm already in the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Like I couldn't imagine not having it. I wouldn't know what to do, like maybe go to the gym and stuff like that, but like for me, I'm not gonna go to a competition for lifting, you know what I mean? But I'll go to a competition for jiu-jitsu, and that like helps me out, you know what I mean? That gives me a goal to strive for when I'm training, so it doesn't get too monotonous. And I'm actually competing Sunday at the Emerald City qualifier, which I'm pretty pumped for, because I've been competing at like 155 all the way up to 170. I've been a little chunky.
What do you
monkey.
walk around at?
Right now 150, but there was a time I was walking around like 165 and just like, chunky is, very chunky and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited to be going down in weight, and hopefully someday I'm able to compete at 135, because I'm going to spend my 30s competing, and then my 40s, so when hopefully I'll have a gym by then and like just start teaching, because I have about 10 more years till I can retire, and I'll be 41, and then I'll say bye to the police work and concentrate on hopefully having a successful jiu-jitsu gym.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and there's a college up north of where I live, and I hope to open up a gym there. And so hopefully college students are a good
definitely a money spot.
To get that revenue, and also like just teach and stuff like that. That's my main concern, because I'll be retired then. And I live a life where money isn't a huge thing for me. Obviously you need money, you know what I mean, to pay your bills, obviously, and stuff, but like I don't want that to be like my like all I care about when I'm like running a jiu-jitsu gym. What I want to care about is getting people to like be in love with the sport, and like helping them, either like police or like college students or whatever the case is, just being enamored with the sport itself. So I'm excited, very excited to see where the jiu-jitsu world leads me to, because I never would have thought that I'm like going to be showing techniques to like 20 cops, even like before I became a cop. If you ever told me that, I'd be like, damn, you're fucking crazy, you know what I mean? Like, but now I'm teaching guys, and there was like people there who were like defensive tactic instructors, you know what I mean, and they're like trying to learn stuff from me and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So that's what I want to do, like I said, teach and stuff someday. Right now it's just more about me and competing and stuff like that.
Well, the only experience I have with seeing you kind of instruct is when you instructed like my camera. But I have to say, man, you spoke well. I think you would be a great instructor, man.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm excited to see the fact that you're like a cop and you're like a high level competitor. Like you're literally like putting yourself in a situation, so you're trying to fight like the top 10 dudes in the world.
I want to, and I'm sure
there's
going to be a lot of really good people that are going to be competing at this qualifier and stuff like that, and I want to be a part of it. And I'm really thankful for Sam. Like he's been a teammate of mine for like several years now and stuff like that, and Sam Mikhail has done a lot for jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty excited. He's put me on cards before, and and I've competed on my own and like done fairly well, but obviously when Sam's gonna put a match together, he ain't gonna find like some scrub that that barely competes. He's gonna be putting up like some good matches with some good people. So I've had some pretty tough matches competing under his organization and stuff like that. I did have a match with Ethan Krellinston. Who's one of the top guys in the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's wild.
I mean, he whooped my ass, but my claim to fame for that match is he had this deep ass RNC on me, and it was tight. But one of the instructors of the gym I used to go to, like he was going over RNC defenses, and one was to just reach back and just start choking the dude. So there is a picture. I don't know if it's on my Instagram. He put it on his Instagram. Ethan did and stuff like that, of me just reaching back and just choking him as he has this RNC.
So you're defending one arm and then you
no,
choke
not
him
even just
what,
just going
bro?
back.
You gotta show me that shit.
I got out of it, but only to be submitted later. And he put me in this like reverse like triangle armbar type of thing. And my thought like in that position, because I've been in that position before, is hey, I gotta go to work in a few days.
Of
I can't
course,
have
man,
my
yeah.
arm busted. And then one of the other matches, this brown belt from Matt Serra's gym, he got me in like this wicked deep ankle lock or heel hook and stuff, and my ankle popped a couple times, but I'm like, yo,
Ooh.
I got to go to work in a couple
Yeah,
days, so I
tap.
tapped. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I tapped,
dude, play
and,
smart,
and
man.
and it was a good match, you know, all the way up until there. I hit him with a like a single leg, but he was great. He did like a Granby roll, grabbed my other leg or something like that, and just, you know, submitted me that way. But I was happy, you know, being out there, and I trained my ass off for that match there, and like, yeah, but. I still enjoy competing, and like I'm like pretty chill dude, but once I get out on the mat, man, like something just changes
Animal
in
comes
me.
out.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, and that was
No, man, that's fucking gangster, man. To know that you are going after so many things and that you have like such an established path for what you know you want with your life. Like I love to hear that from people, because like this bus thing is not like a permanent thing. But I have like eggs in a few baskets, and the way like my life's gonna go is based on success in which one hatches. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which egg basket has the most eggs that hatch, kind of thing. But yeah, man, that's beautiful to hear you like have like such a cool like fleshed out idea for your life. I hope it works out, man.
No, I appreciate
Yeah.
it, and it's not all about me now. I have a daughter; she's 4 years
Yeah.
old, and you know I'm taking her to a ton of things: gymnastics, karate. What else do I got her in? I got
You're gonna
her.
turn her into a world beater.
I am. We tried wrestling, but she's still a little too young for that. But that's,
Yeah.
I think, you know, if she takes to it, if she enjoys it, that's the end goal, is her to be
Mhm.
just a beast in wrestling and
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And you know, you know, we don't have a gym like AOJ out here, you know, where their kids program is like wicked sick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not that I know of. You know what I mean? I've seen a couple gyms have some pretty beast kid program and stuff like that, but I definitely want to get her into that eventually. But
Yeah.
I just what I want to say is, like, you know what I mean? It's not about me anymore. Like, it's mostly, you know, 100% like for my daughter now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if I can train now as much as I do, good. And then when the time comes, you know, her hobbies or whatever, you know what I mean, academics or whatever, will take my stuff will take a backseat to that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if it's jujitsu, then let it be jujitsu, and we can compete together at like some tournaments
That
and
would
stuff
be
like that. You know what I
gangster, dude.
mean? And she could be my coach and my quarter and everything like that. So I'm excited for that. And
Yeah.
I do, you know, I have these aspirations for her, and maybe it's like, you know, maybe some people won't agree with it, but I do want her to be like in law enforcement, not at the level I'm at, but more like FBI or something like that. I want her to
Oh, that
go,
would be gangster.
yeah, I want her to
Yeah.
go to like the Naval Academy or something like that. Like, she'll
Yeah.
do what she wants, but I have these
Yeah.
goals for her as
Yeah,
well.
it's
Like, you
man,
know,
Annapolis looks pretty cool, babe. Like,
yeah, or West Point or whatever the case is. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, I am a first generation American. My mom came here, you know, she walked across the border, you know, 14 years old, and you know, and I think she did pretty good given to this country. I was a Marine. My brother was a Marine. My two sisters are college graduates, you know, with full-time jobs and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad no one in our family is, you know, the black sheep. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like committing crimes or anything like that. You know, we're all generally, as a single mom, I think she did a great job with us, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of what she did and stuff like that, and continues to do and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy about
That's
that.
awesome. So you're Mexican?
Guatemalan.
Guatemalan. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there once. It was for me a terrible experience because I was like so like used to the American way of life. You know what
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, of
That what.
course. You're whitewashed, they
Yeah,
say.
so when we went out there, we went out to the mountains and stuff like that, where my mom is from and stuff
Mhm.
like that. There was like barely any electricity, and like the food was like what they grew, you know what I mean, and
Oh,
like the
yeah.
livestock and stuff like
It's
that, which I
healthy
was.
lifestyle, though,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah. I don't remember seeing any like any
McDonald's.
like or like heavy set people out there.
Oh,
They're all
yeah.
pretty in shape and stuff like that, and like just yeah, farming and stuff like that. That was basically their way of life, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't have a good experience because I was so used to how easy, you know, American life can be and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it wasn't, maybe if I went back, I'd have a different appreciation for it
Yeah.
100% and stuff. But my mom, she missed it and she loved it. So that was awesome. And, but yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm Puerto Rican,
Oh,
and
okay.
my mom came from like a really rural, like or like, you know, boonies ass fucking Dualta is the name of the
Dualta.
town, and my grandfather there, like that the house that she grew up in, they have like the way they get their water is like it's a pipe tapped in the mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The electricity there is like, you know, they don't have air conditioners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like really like specific. I actually briefly I'll tell a story like when Hurricane Maria hit there. It was like the strongest hurricane to hit Puerto Rico in 100 years. It wiped out the power grid in there. So I had solar panels on the bus before. Back when it was like the band tour bus, I took all the shit that I had on here and I shipped it down there and I set it up for them.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, man, I really have a huge respect for people who live off the land, and that's kind of like what kind of another thing that like made me inspired to be like, oh, I want to like I want to be like capable of off grid living, and that's why the bus kind of
that's
was a
badass,
first idea,
man.
yeah.
And honestly, I think I probably could have done something like that if like, you know, I got out of the Marines and all I want to do is compete or jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. At that
Yeah.
time, I just want to become a cop, and you know, thankfully I got
Yeah.
it. But I could definitely have seen myself, and I'm pretty envious of what you're able
Yeah.
to do with that and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Kind of
Well,
like
I'll say this, man. Like it is. I feel like I definitely have. I have the ability to make my jiu-jitsu better, like for sure. But at the same time, my goal is not to like show up to gyms and be like, oh, check it out, like all these fucking, I'm the best fucking guy. I travel in a bus and I'm like the best jiu-jitsu competitor. That's not the way I want to be. I want to show up. I want to make some friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you
no
know
doubt.
what I mean?
That's awesome. I didn't even
Yeah.
know like what you were about when you first showed up, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I've never seen this dude. I want to like see what he's got.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
what,
so
what
glad
I
you asked me to roll.
Yeah,
They
I'm like-
fucking cut the time off. We gotta finish that roll.
Oh
I hope
yeah,
you're in
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
They turned the clock off or whatever
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
They cut it off. We couldn't figure out who was gonna sub. I was definitely gonna sub, right?
So, but
Brown belt, fucking badass over here.
But one thing I would say, I guess, I mean, it's 12. I think you got to pick up Sam pretty soon.
I told him to call me.
Oh,
I told
okay,
him to
all
call
right.
me. Yeah.
But what I want to say is like just take it easy on the ego. You
Yeah,
know, when I
of
first
course.
started out, I was very like huge ego and stuff like that. I'm like, no one's gonna submit me, or no one of lower rank is gonna submit me, or anything
Yeah.
like that and stuff. And if they do submit me, I'm gonna turn it up and stuff like that. I ain't about that anymore, and I don't think that's the way jiu-jitsu should be. As far as like, I mean, I get it, maybe like a competition class or something like that. You know, turn it up and stuff like that. But your everyday like class, you don't have to be, you know, doing that and stuff like that. You know, you're just gonna. I think you're gonna make a bad name for yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Don't roll with that dude. He's a spaz. Even if he's good, you know what I mean? He's still like he's gonna wrench on things and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I honestly, I mean, I don't like getting submitted, but if I get submitted, you know, I just take it as a humbling experience and knowing like, you know, I'm not gonna turn it up. I'm just gonna try to see if I can change this up and see where that ends. You know what I mean? And can I get the submission off that maybe with him or something like that? So, you know, definitely like just take it easy on the ego as far as like jiu-jitsu is what I would say. You know what I mean? And because you're in it, you know, if you, you know, I like to believe people that start jiu-jitsu are in it for the long haul. If you're in the long haul, that's not the type of way, you know, you're going to be more injury prone or you're going to injure people, and you don't want, you know, to have that kind of name and stuff like that. So definitely like I don't, not that I don't mind getting tapped out by lower ranks or like, you know what I mean? But if it happens, it happens. And, you know, you just got to like, you take it as a learning experience or whatever, and then like just keep rolling and, you know, be happy you're out there on the mats and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people that don't do jiu-jitsu, and just that's I always try to look at things half full. At least I'm out here, at least I'm doing this, at least I'm
Yeah.
competing, and my body's still holding up pretty well. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? To be out there competing. So
Yeah, for me, like honestly, the fact that I have been in the room and gotten to train with some of like the world's best talent,
That's
like I've rolled
awesome.
with Nicky Rod before.
Damn.
I've rolled with like a lot of the Studio 84 people. Oh, and I wanted to talk about something with that was relevant to your daughter, but let me finish this sentiment
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I've been, you know, like and all the other like you've seen any podcast that I've had. Like I've had some incredibly like great dudes from like the Death Squad, 10th Planet guys like Zach Maslany, like legendary guy with JM Holland that started the
100%.
finishers.
Yep,
you know
I
what I
watched
mean? And
their
that's where the
matches.
qualifier is gonna be.
Yeah.
And those guys are badass, great dudes. And they JM was on Emerald City too.
Yeah, he was. Oh, I've
last
watched
minute.
him before that.
Yeah.
Watched him at the finishers, and
Hell yeah,
he's a
man.
badass. I actually saw him compete against one of the local black belts. He's a black belt now,
Mhm.
but him hitting him with like, I don't know if it was truck or electric chair type stuff, and
Yeah,
just you can
dude.
hear his knee pop. The other dudes, and I was just like, damn, man, and stuff like that.
Crazy.
And I definitely wanted to roll with him, but it didn't happen or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but what were you saying?
Yeah. So like, you know, and all I'm saying is like, I'm just happy that like I get to be in the room and practice this thing that I'm passionate about being a practitioner of. I don't see myself like, and this is the way I like justify it to myself. Like, even if I wanted to be like an amazing jiu-jitsu athlete, I'm about to be 30 years old. You know what I mean? Like I'm about to be masters. You know what I mean? At a lot of these things. It's just, it's not the path that I chose when I first started training, first of all. And I started training in my mid-20s. Some of these dudes have been training since they were 10.
Yeah,
you know what I
no
mean?
doubt, yeah.
I didn't, like my son has what it takes. Like, you know what I mean? Like now it's like, if I want my bloodline to be a jiu-jitsu champion, it's not me that does it. It's me that prepares, you know, the next generation.
No doubt.
With that said, speaking of like children, so Sophie Sharp from Studio 84, she's like a 13 or 14-year-old jiu-jitsu badass.
Yeah,
And she did a tournament. I can't remember if it was a good fight or something like that, but she went in a bracket with boys, got gold.
Oh, wow,
Trashed
that's
them all.
awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like not scared. And she runs like the kids program at Studio 84's HQ. And she gave some great advice on that. Definitely worth checking out, because
Okay.
like seeing the way she thinks might help you prepare your daughter, like for, you know, you'll know what subtle cues to give her. Like, oh man, look at this, like, you know, watch Wonder Woman or whatever it might be. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. No, I saw
Yeah.
one clip of it.
I shared it on Instagram.
yeah,
the one
that's-
specifically where she's talking about like the kids program that she runs, like what age is a good time to get in.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and
That's-
Sophie's
I
really
actually remember
smart.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sophie's really smart, and I'm sure like even if you DM her like, yo, I want to get my daughter in, she's so awesome, and her and her pops, like they've helped me in a lot of ways.
Because
but
I was
yeah.
really eager
Yeah.
for her to start, and I had her doing a wrestling practice. She just turned 4, and she just was not ready, and I was
Yeah.
like so eager for her to do it, but I know I got to chill.
Yeah.
So then I decided to get her in her karate and stuff, like
Yeah.
to try to build her, you know, attention span up and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and discipline and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't want to be one of those like dads or whatever that like try to live through their kids and stuff like that.
The vicarious like shit,
yeah,
dude.
'cause-
Those are like I have so many athlete friends of mine that like hate that sport now. Like they hate football because like their dad like forced them through it. Like, oh, I was supposed to, like when I was in high school, like I was supposed to be like a D1, whatever, fuck this, that, and the
Yeah.
other thing. And then like once I got to college, I'm like, fuck that. And then, like,
Yeah,
now
no
they have like
doubt.
resentment toward their dad because they see like the world from a different perspective now.
And I never experienced
Yeah.
that because like my mom, she only went to a couple of matches and stuff. Like she was proud of us, like, you know, if we won. And
Yeah.
she didn't really care too much about the losses, but she, you know, she'd be like, you know, I'm happy that you're winning at something that you like doing and stuff like that. But she
Yeah.
never pressured anything or anything like that. She really didn't even like wrestling and stuff like that. But that was all like self motivation, initiative, and
course.
stuff like that. But for her, I just want her, you know, to experience a multitude of things, whether it be like whatever sports. I want to get her piano lessons and stuff like that.
Dude,
but like at her own
music's
pace.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yo.
definitely. And my brother's like, he plays acoustic guitar, you know,
Yeah,
in his
Yo, if you
downtime
want
and
her to
stuff.
shred when she's like 10 years old, hit me up, bro.
Yeah,
I'll give her a couple
definitely.
free lessons. Call it even for the diesel.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty pumped to see where she goes and stuff like that. And she won't need or want too much in her life. And like when it comes to that, you know what I mean? It would have been cool to like to experience a lot of stuff. But I'm still fortunate enough, you know, to have done what I did. You know, wrestling. I didn't know if you know, that was something I was never really interested in. And then just, you know, my brother was doing it, so I wanted to get into it. And that's, you know, and what I wanted to say was like, jiu-jitsu has been awesome, man. Like I sometimes compare it. You know, I trained with Wagner Rocha a couple months ago. I went down to Miami and I stayed there for a week and just trained like every day for like a whole week, like twice a day or whatever. And it was like I went down to 10th Planet, and it's fun, and it's just like jiu-jitsu. It's awesome because you like get to train like, you know, alongside, or like you know you go to a class taught by like one of the best guys in the world and stuff. And jiu-jitsu is like awesome like that because like not everyone's gonna be playing like one-on-one with like LeBron or something like that, but like
isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
to
but
think
like
about?
in jiu-jitsu, I had a round. I did, you know, a round with Wagner, and you know it was awesome because I told his daughter, I was like, hey, you know, I definitely want to roll with your dad and stuff like that, and she's like, just ask him, and I'm like, okay. And then like the next day he saw me, he's like, hey, I heard you wanted to roll, and I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like got brought up to like
Oh,
at dinner or
shit.
something like that, like, yo,
That's
Tomas
fucking
wants to roll,
funny.
and Wagner was
Yeah.
awesome, like he knew my name, like I introduced myself and he remembered it the whole time, and it was awesome. His gym is awesome. Like all his instructors were wicked cool. Like everyone was very welcome in there. And yeah, so I did that for a week, and then it was funny because like the Monday I was there, I was like going at it with like on the feet with some of the good competitors there. I mean, they're all good. I'm just saying like some of their active, really you know, good competitors. I was, you know, they beat the shit out of me, but I was putting up a decent fight. And he told me, I was like, hey, you know, I got a buddy that trains, you know, every once in a while at Fight Sports. You know, I wanted to check that place out. He's like, show up tomorrow. It was gonna be because I went there my first day on Monday. He's like, show up tomorrow to the 9 or 10 a.m. class, and he's like, it's the competition class. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah. So like fight sports, you know what I mean? Like cyborgs over there, and like, yeah. So like,
talk about a room,
yeah.
bro.
So
Legendary.
I was taking the bus around down there in Miami and stuff. So then like I went there, and when I was leaving though, like after I showered and everything at Wagner's, he goes, all right, show up at 9, but don't show up if you're late. So I'm like, oh fuck. So I'm like, I had to get up wicked early, catch the like earliest bus there to make sure I was there on time. But I went in there and I was like, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience, and just like, you know what I mean, just the roads that like jiu-jitsu can bring you to and stuff like that. It's awesome. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot of stuff, and just it was awesome experience to like go like train with guys who were like on the jiu-jitsu scene and stuff like that. Mika Galvao was there. It was pretty sweet to see him there and stuff. I didn't roll with him at all, but it was still cool. Yeah, it would have been cool to get a roll and just say I got the shit beat out of me by Mika and stuff like that. But it was awesome. And I went out to California last year, and it's just awesome like where jiu-jitsu can bring you, and like where my gym used to be, Team Quest, in that plaza, 10th Planet Oceanside was there, and I trained with Ricky Lule. That was an awesome experience because he's like about my size and stuff like that, and he just beat the living shit out of me and stuff like that. So that was just fun. And like Gio was hurt, so we couldn't do a round at that time or whatever. So but it's just awesome. And like I plan on next traincation, Sam, because he's like, I talk about it and I like that word. He mentioned it, traincation.
I like that word too, actually.
So next traincation, I want to go out to Montana and train with Kron Gracie.
Nice.
He opened up a gym down there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Montana.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's got a gym. He closed the one down in LA because all the COVID restrictions.
Man, everyone's
I think
leaving out of LA, man.
Yeah, and
or just California in general.
Yeah, so he went up there and just. Yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully for that, I'm gonna make sure, hopefully he's there teaching, because I know he's like in the UFC and stuff like that. So he might go to like different places for camps and stuff. But no, I'm pretty pumped. And this like jiu-jitsu's brought me to a podcast, and I never dreamed of being on a podcast. So that's pretty cool. And I'm sure you're well known and stuff like that.
Man,
no, I mean
I'm working on it.
You got Keith Krikorian on there, that was badass, and
dude, definitely he's such a great dude, man.
Awesome. I know I enjoy watching his matches, and it was definitely like when I saw him, I'm like, damn, dude, you know what I mean?
He's healed up now, man, and like I've never rolled like a live round with him. Like I float rolled him because his knee was bothering him at the time.
Okay.
But I frequent studio, and I definitely like want to hit that again, and I can't wait to roll with him live and have him fuck me up.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, I was like wicked happy to get my shit beat by Wagner and just whoever, like Ricky Lule, he put a good beating on me and stuff like that. It's just cool. Like, I don't know, just rolling with people that, I'm on like a YouTube and watching all these guys' videos and stuff like that, and just to be there training and stuff like that. And that's just awesome where jiu-jitsu could bring you,
It's so funny what you said about like the LeBron thing. Like in jiu-jitsu, you literally just show up to this famous dude's gym and it's like, let's roll.
No, it was awesome. And like, it's cool where jiu-jitsu can bring you. And like I said, like I'm going to use it I don't want to say it's like going to be my livelihood after I retire, but it's going to be just another goal of mine to open up my own gym and hopefully be a successful gym. And just jiu-jitsu is awesome.
I think just seeing and I don't know you more than like what I've met you since I've been in Syracuse, which is like a week, not even. But it seems like when you're passionate about something, it seems like you're really together on like your goal-oriented mindset. So I'm really excited to like have you back on once like you get your black belt, or even like if you win the qualifier, I'll have you on.
No,
that's a tall task. There's some killers in that qualifier,
there is, man.
bro.
And I just want to throw my name in the hat. I just want to throw my name in the hat and see where I end up. And I've won some tournaments, or I've gotten second and stuff like that. So I'm excited, to be down in a lower weight. And like I've been doing this for 10 years. And people like to, they ask me, hey, are you good at jiu-jitsu? Like people that have never trained or nothing like that. And I'm like, I hope so. I hope I'm good. Like I don't think I'm like national like ranked good or whatever, obviously, but like I think I'm pretty decent. And I tell them, like, been doing it for 10 years. I think I'm good. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but like if I sucked at it, I probably should find a new hobby. You know what I mean? Been doing it for 10 years and shit like that. So, but I've met some awesome people. One of my good friends, Rob Solano, he's like one of my closest best friends. I met him through that. He was in the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major, you know what I mean? Wow, I only ended up as a corporal, so E4, and he made it all, I think that's E9 or something like that. And he's an awesome dude. He's you know, he trains jiu-jitsu, and that's where I met him, and just a great dude, and just the friends you meet, and like, this is cool. You know, I'll be definitely, you know, a huge fan of yours, and
Oh,
you
I
know, yeah,
appreciate
watch
that,
your
man.
podcast
Yeah.
and stuff. And I love podcasts. Some of my favorite ones, Brendan Schaub is probably my number one.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
him, like, because he's got two. He's got the fighter and the kid.
Yeah,
And then
that
he's
one's funny as
yeah,
hell.
yeah. And then he's got the below the belt, and I just love listening to him when I'm at work or whatever, and
Yeah.
you know, got some downtime.
Yeah, let me ask you, like, for your taste in podcasts, like, what do you go for? Because it's interesting. One of the things I really enjoy is like history podcasts, and like and I used to work in cybersecurity, so I like hacky shit too.
Oh, okay.
Like my favorite one of all time, like I think it's the most well done podcast I've ever listened to, is one called Darknet Diaries, and this dude is just really fucking good. Like he interviews people that like hack shit and just.
I'll have
like,
to check that one
yeah,
out.
that one's really good. I can send you like a good law enforcement relevant one.
Okay,
remind
yeah.
me and I'll
send me
send
those
it.
too. I'd love to hear them.
But yeah, what do you like go for in podcasts?
Mostly just like jujitsu type of
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
bro, I have plenty of that.
Yeah.
Then.
So like, you know, Joe Rogan, you know, had Gordon Ryan on.
Yeah,
and
man.
One that I kind of like, Lex Friedman. He's like my new, like, the one I love listening to, and he's just like very like detailed, or you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
And the one he had with John Danaher, I've listened to that one like 5 or 6 times.
Damn, dude.
And you know, it's kind of weird too, because like I'll listen to it like right before I'm like going to sleep or whatever, like in bed. I'll listen to that one because they're so like mellow, the way they talk about something I'm very passionate about. And then, but he also brings on like tons of like wicked, like intelligent people, like whatever the case is, you know, whatever the topic is, and I love listening to them. And you know, those are ones, and whatever. I think, you know, stuff about like, I think he just had one like about like the solar system or planets and stuff like that. I'm listening to that one, and yeah, so I like those ones. Like, you know, I like Lex Friedman, you know, very intelligent dude. I like listening to his, but I would say my always go to is Brendan Schaub's, either Below the Belt. I listened to a couple of his today, and that just, you know, he's like one of those jock guys, and I like, you know, I like listening to him, like, you know what I mean? He's funny dude, and just that one's pretty. Those two are pretty sweet. My favorite, and then like I said, Joe Rogan. I like listening to his every now and then.
You ever listen to Jocko's podcast?
I have.
Willing?
I have. Yeah. I've listened to a few of his, and I like listening to those. And
when I need to be like hard, like I listen to his shit, I'm like, damn, I need more responsibility. Like,
yeah, and the thing is, like with him and like David Goggins, I enjoy listening to him, but I know a lot of people like find motivation from them, but I think the best motivation is self-motivation. Like I like running and stuff like that. I really enjoy running and stuff like that. Yeah,
bro,
I do.
No
like
wonder you're so good.
I try running a lot.
Bro.
And
that's harder than jujitsu.
Yeah, it's taking a toll on my joints and stuff, but like the only motivation I have is just, you know, just self-motivation to like go out there and, you know, put, you know, feet to pavement and just start jogging and stuff like that. And I just get lost in running. I really enjoy running. I mountain bike every now and then. You know, I try to find different hobbies, so I'm not just so like into jiu-jitsu all the freaking time. But I mean, I enjoy that, but I like finding other hobbies and stuff like that, and maybe I'll find new ones. I don't know. But I like being active, so that's what I enjoy doing. And but Jocko has some good ones, and I can't think of any other podcasts that I enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have them on my Spotify. So
yo, let's talk a little bit. It's the Bard podcast, so I gotta ask you, like, let's talk a little bit about music, man. Like, what kind of music do you listen to? Have you ever had like a fight to win match where you had a walkout song? Like, what do you use for a walkout song?
First one I had was like I fought a couple times in the cage, so I had like,
oh fuck yeah,
I had one by like Seether. I forgot the name of it, but it was like on this Marine Corps video that I loved watching that got me pumped up. So I listened to that one for my first, or I had that one play for my first one.
What was the song?
I forget the name of it, but it was like on this wicked famous Marine, like like they were kicking doors down and stuff like that. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta have that.
That's hard.
But then my next one was like Chief Keef. You know Chief Keef?
Yeah,
I had Love Sosa was my second one. But I enjoy a lot of variety of music. Probably the one I listen to the most right now maybe is Wu-Tang. I love Wu-Tang, and my daughter knows Wu-Tang. Yeah, like one time she was like feeling under the weather and stuff, and she came out and she wanted to cuddle on the couch and stuff, and I'm like, what do you want to watch? And she's like, YouTube. And I'm like, and I started playing Wu-Tang, and she's like, she enjoyed listening to Wu-Tang.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she'll like, I'll like play some of their music. I'm like, who's this? And without even like looking at like the screen, she'll be like, that's Wu-Tang.
That's awesome.
Wu-Tang I really really liked
And
her.
she's
So,
4 years old.
Yeah, and she's
Dang,
4.
dude.
Yeah,
She's got
yeah.
a good ear.
Yeah.
Definitely let her chase the music thing and
Yeah,
give
I
her
will.
instruments that she wants to play.
I will, and she enjoys it. She enjoys music and stuff like that. And like, but I grew up like my teen years, like listening to a lot of emo and stuff like that, like My
Yeah,
Chemical
word,
Romance.
dude.
And I liked
Nice.
all
All
that
right.
stuff.
You're,
Yeah,
dude. We're like the same age, so
Yeah.
like it's definitely like the similar like stuff.
And I used to go to shows a lot, like
Mhm.
the scene, you know what I mean, like all that kind of music and
Yeah.
stuff. I saw like Hawthorne Heights live. That was like
Oh,
my first
nice,
concert and stuff
dude.
like that. And like going to that, it was at like a local college, and that was sweet. And just going to like these lesser known venues and just watching, you know, bands that I knew from like across the country, and like it was awesome. Those were good times with my friends going out to concerts and just, you know what I mean, just hanging out, listening to some music and stuff. But so I like that kind of music. I like I'm a big fan of rap, 100%. Like I've been listening to like Little Uzi Vert and J. Cole and stuff like that. Mac Miller, when he got big, I was like
Yeah.
wicked into him, you know, back when I was in the Marines, like around 2010, when he was like getting pretty big. I
Yeah.
was listening to his stuff, and yeah, mostly just rap and, you know, rock occasionally, but mostly rap right now.
Mhm.
That's what I like listening to.
Do you lift weights a lot?
Not as much as I used to. I like doing it more as like a rehab for like injuries that I have, like
that
my
makes a
lower
lot of
back.
sense.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, like, what do you listen to when you train?
When I train,
Like, what's your favorite thing to listen to?
you
when
know what's
train?
crazy is like sometimes I'll go on runs and like listen to like podcasts and
Yeah,
stuff like
that
that. It
makes
just,
sense,
yeah, it
though.
just gives my mind, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like on a
something
bike
about-
ride, like, well, for me personally, like anytime I can put music on, I'll put on music. Like usually when I drive is when I'll throw on a podcast.
Okay, yeah.
I actually listen to them a lot less than like people might think.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, because like music is like what my brain's always on. But like my personal favorite thing, like the old owner of my gym used to put on like gangster rap, like Biggie and shit, and
Oh,
like I was
nice.
kind of into that, but man, like I love that shit now, bro. Like listening to some Nas and trying to choke somebody.
Yeah,
it just
no
it's
doubt.
what the song's about, bro.
Yeah.
Like hypnotized. Like I want to put you to sleep. Like you know what I mean?
And I heard something funny. I didn't mention it, but another podcast I really enjoy listening to is the Finishers podcast.
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
with Zach, and he mentioned like he's like the music he puts on, he ain't gonna put like DMX on because people are just be in there trying to kill each other and
Yo,
stuff
for
like
sure,
that. So,
dude.
but like I like listening to them, like DMX, like if I'm working out or something. But like when
Yeah,
I'm
DMX
train-
is great for
y-
lifting.
yeah.
For me, I love it.
But Sam, he's got some good tunes he puts on. The one I like the most is frig, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but I told him the other day to put it on. He's like, "Oh, it's the next on the playlist and stuff like." So that was pretty sweet. Yeah, just mostly like rap, I would say, is what I
Yeah.
listen to when I lift or like train, like Armies of the Pharaoh. I used to listen to them a lot when I was training and stuff
Nice,
like
nice.
that. So
You all the music that was playing in the gym, like for the lifting area, that was all coming out of my phone.
Oh, that
So,
was you? That
yeah,
hard stuff going
yeah,
on? Oh,
dude, I had
okay. I
some
was like,
pretty technical shit. Like
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
like Trivium, and then I had like Vola going, like weird stuff.
Okay, I know
Uh,
Trivium a little bit.
Yeah, Trivium's pretty solid. You know, the lead singer Matt Hafey, he does jujitsu.
Oh, he
I
does.
Think he's a black
Okay, I
belt.
think
Yeah.
I saw a Jiu-Jitsu Time article or some sort of article on that,
Yeah.
on him and stuff. But I do see like famous people like or like musicians and stuff like that training. It's pretty sweet. I think there was like some guy from like Five Finger Death Punch or something like that. Like that.
Yeah.
He was like,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
to know
like
those guys are like really like violence oriented. Like,
Yeah, he, like, won a
violent
tournament.
practices. Yeah.
oh, one of my favorite like back when I was like a white belt or blue belt. I don't know if you've heard of Census Fail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck yeah,
the-
no
the-
census
the-
fail.
the
I think
lead guy.
I've seen them live actually.
Oh, I have too. Yeah, Warp
Yeah.
Tour. But Buddy Nielsen, I think, is his name. He trained jujitsu and stuff.
Oh,
and I was like,
shit.
that's badass
I didn't even
and
know,
shit like
yeah.
that. It might have been before, or like, yeah, I think when I first started getting into it, because that was pretty sweet. That like he did that, and I was like, I read the article or the YouTube video about it and stuff. So that was pretty sweet. But
That's
yeah.
cool. Yo, well, let's talk a little bit about jujitsu now. Like we've been talking about like a lot of other things so
Yeah.
far. Let's kind of dive in, yo. Like, what are some like dream matchups? Like you'd love to see like these two guys go at it.
Oh, let me think. I've been paying attention to everything, man. I watch it all. I got a Flow Grappling article or subscription, and then like
Yeah.
I'll still like like pay for like certain like events and stuff like that. Like I got the UFC that app or whatever, and they have that the Submission Underground, and I love watching those events and stuff. And I'll like a lot of stuff. I'm more interested in watching no gi. I mean, gi's cool to watch and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I love watching some guys in the gi, like Buchecha and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
but mostly it's like no gi. But damn, man, like I'm a fan, obviously, huge fan of Ethan. Like, you know, I watch a match of his and I'm like, yeah, I got my ass beat by him, but I, you know, at least
Yeah,
grappled
for
him
sure,
and stuff
for
like
sure.
that. But like, I don't know, I tend to like concentrate on the lower weight guys, like your 35 and 45 pounders and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So I'm you know, I can't think of anything too specific right now, but whatever, like all these big events, they're putting on the best matches. You
Yeah,
know what I
man.
mean?
It
So
seems like I know Jay Rigoletto, shout out to my man, is helping Sam like kind of balance some of the super fights on the card for
yeah, I
his
saw that.
Emerald City event. My God, man, there are some like bangers. I'm like,
Y-
oh, I never even
yeah,
thought of that matchup. I'm
yeah,
like,
no doubt.
man, these are like no, like I'll say like there's not a single one where I'm like, oh, that's gonna go this way. It's
Yeah,
like
they're
all
all
of them are like,
toss-ups.
that's a good matchup. I don't
Yeah.
know who's gonna win that one.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything right now, but just whatever's out there. Like, I'm just a fan of all that stuff that's going out there right now, and I'm definitely gonna see, like, you know, pay attention more, like what dream matches would be awesome. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fan of like the guys out west, the guys out east, the guys south. You know what I mean? Like, because you know the big meccas. You know, you got a lot of guys coming out of those places, like down in Florida, Miami area or San Diego area and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then you got your New York City guys and stuff like that. Like, and now we got Texas, you know,
Oh,
those
I
guys
know,
over
they're
there, you know,
popping off over
yeah.
there.
So it's just awesome to see all like those gyms. And then you got like,
I think Sam's out there training with the Tackets.
Oh, is he right now? Okay,
I
yeah,
think he
I know
was.
he
I
did
think
before.
you mentioned that he
Yeah,
was.
he did
I
before.
could be bullshitting right now.
Yeah,
But
no, I was super jealous. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was training.
Oh, he did
Yeah,
before? He
Yeah,
probably did
yeah, with the
again, yeah.
Tackett brothers out there and Cody Steele and everything like that. It was awesome. And he's one of the instructors at the gym, and it's just I mean, I look forward to all the classes, but I know Sam's gonna be bringing the fire all the time, like with the leg
Yeah.
stuff and like, which I never really got into until probably, you know, I started getting to the, you know, where at the gym I am at now, Ultimate Athletics, which
Yeah.
which I, you know, I was never really like a guard player, but since I've been there, I've been just working on my guard, and that was like 7 years into, maybe 8 years into my jiu-jitsu career or whatever, that I was never comfortable on my back. Like, I would be on my back, but I would always try to either get up to the feet or like try to pass or something like that. So, you know, and he's been teaching some awesome stuff, reverse de la Hiva and all that stuff, and it's just awesome to learn, or to learn. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be, you know, I'm always watching matches. If I can't make it, like if I can't see them live or whatever online, I'll wait, and you know what I mean. If they come out, and I'll watch them online some other way or whatever. So, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for jiu-jitsu, and it's just popping off. Everything's popping off, and you know, I don't watch any other sports. Like, people ask me, like, do you watch football? No. Do you
Yeah,
watch
for
basketball?
sure.
No. That's just, you know, my interest. You know, is definitely jiu-jitsu, and just, you know, I am a fan of college wrestling. I'll watch some big matches when it comes to college
the
wrestling.
grappling in general.
Yeah. So,
do you play any other sports? Like, are you a practitioner of anything else?
No, all I did in high school was wrestling. I tried track out, and you know, I was more to like meet girls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
my
no,
man.
yeah, but not a fan of anything else. Just
Yeah.
wrestling, and I never played anything else. You know, being 5'3", not a lot of sports. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, or cater or whatever to that
Mhm.
to that height or whatever. But in jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, or wrestling and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you still gonna be pretty good. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I ain't rebounding any basketballs anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I have butterfingers. I'm not good at like
Oh,
catching
yeah.
a football or nothing like that. But no, not really. I haven't really competed in anything else. But jiu-jitsu is just you know, that's all I do, and that's, you know, and yeah. I don't know, like I said, my daughter, like if she gets into soccer, then, you know, I'll definitely probably know more about soccer when that time, you know, when she starts playing. And because I want, you know, whatever she gets into, I want her to be like delve into it and be like, you know, one of the best at
Take
what
it
she
seriously.
does.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's such a good mindset to pass down, right?
Mhm.
And that's something like I try to do with my son. It's so, yeah, I'll tell this story because
Yeah.
he called me earlier today. I might actually he might visit me because he's in New York right now
Oh,
with his grandpa on his
nice.
mom's side. So we might line up, like meeting up for like some lunch or something, because he's like within an hour of here. Anyway. he's having issues with his laptop, and I used to be like a systems engineer, and I helped him like install like a RAM chip or something, like
Oh,
some
nice.
stuff, and like he understands like some things about computers, but he's like, Dad, I'm trying to troubleshoot this thing. I was like, man, I love this kid so much,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like, so he was just telling me like he's having some issues. So like if I once I see him again, we're gonna get his computer back online. I think he's having some battery issues or something.
Oh, okay.
It's like an older laptop. Well, it's not that old, but like, you know, heat fucks that shit up all the time.
How old is he?
He's 12. He's about to be 13.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's
He's
awesome.
he's a little badass guy, man. Like, and he got his gi this year. This year,
nice.
he just got his gi, and I'm not trying to force him into jujitsu. I just want to hopefully like I have a comp coming up that I'm taking like pretty seriously, like the one I did with your guys. Like so like, yeah, we could talk about that a little bit. I got bodied, so I went up weight class and difficulty division. Like, so I was just like, all right, let's see like what I can make happen. I got no points on any of the advanced people that I fought in the no-gi thing, but I didn't get tapped at all the whole tournament, and that was kind of like, and I know it's like a point like tournament, but still I was like, man, like a lot of these like black brown belts in this advanced no-gi division, like they were trying to fuck me up. Like, it's not like they were, you know, a lot of the heavier dudes in the gi division, like they were kind of like, they were up points and then they would just hold me in side control, and it's like, fuck, these guys are just so thick.
Yeah.
And it was hot as balls. I was like, I was dying. Not to make excuses, but man, that was rough. Grappling Industries, get your shit together, dog.
I've competed in their organization a couple of times, and I always had a good experience. But it's just like,
well, the one time I won, like I got double gold. Like the last time I did a Grappling Industries, it was a sub only, and that's like that's where my strong suit. But man, dude, like this one was pretty rough, dude. Like, you kept looking at your match times. It was like, what, dude? 3 hours ago from now? Like it was supposed to be at noon. Now it's at 3 o'clock. Oh, you can ask Mende and the guys.
That sucks, man, because you're already going to deal with anxiety when it comes to matches and stuff like that.
I shit 6 times.
Damn,
I'm
man.
not kidding. I'm not kidding, bro. I was like, it was rough. I did not have enough water. Like, oh, I kept like, Mende ran at a gas station and got me like another gallon of water. Like, dude, your guys are so accommodating. Like, I gotta, let's talk about Ultimate Athletics really quick, man.
Definitely.
Like, you guys have been really, really like, man, just so warm to my company. Like, it was crazy to like Mark, maybe it was Sam. I don't know. It was either Mark or Sam. Or maybe it was both of them at the same time. We were just in the gym. They're like, yeah, they're competing this weekend. I'm like, oh, that's really badass. And then Sam's like, yeah, I'm going to Texas. Like, Brad, you should hang out. Like, and then eventually Sam, like, I'm pretty easy to convince. He's like, I'm like, oh, I gotta like probably like go to New Jersey and have the studio guys back on, because I want to have John Combs on. He just won against Nick Ronan, which was a crazy match at Sogi. I don't know if you saw that one.
I don't think I saw it, but I paid attention. I know that he won and stuff like that. I'm a fan of Nick Ronan.
Yeah,
as well.
dude, Nick Ronan's a badass. He just won the last Sogi. Like, I filmed it, and I was like, damn, dude, that guy's hard. He's a hard guy. And then John Combs I've trained with, and John, oh my god, dude, John's a fucking tank.
He's a fucking beast.
So now they're 1-1. So it was a really like anticipated thing. I'm really happy to see that. Anyway, tangential. Yeah, but so they're talking about, I think I come out the shower and at the gym, like after we rolled or something, and they're like, yeah, man, you should do the tournament, because I'd already decided, all right, I'm gonna wait till Sam gets back.
Okay.
And then he's like, yeah, you should just do the tournament, because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use this time to edit. You're letting me use your extension cord for my air conditioner. Like, that's the one thing that kills a solar. And I was like, fine, fuck it. And then like, so they were like, oh man, you should compete. I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm like, I'm supposed to be cutting like for 165. Oh, there's Sam.
Okay.
Really quick, let me just pick it up. And I'll finish the story. Yo, what's up, man? Are you home? Are you back? All right, brother. Yo, I'm on the podcast with Tomas. I'm gonna be like 5 minutes. I'm gonna tie it up here, and then I'm gonna come get you. All right, brother? No problem, man. Yeah, I was waiting for you to call. Like, I was just kind of hanging out, waiting for it. Okay. All right, brother. No, like I'll come get you. It's all good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, dude, you're like. What's that? Yeah. I'll come. Yeah. Yo, send me, text me all the info where to pick you up. All right, brother. All right. Word. Yeah, just send me the an address to GPS, so I don't have to Google it, and I'll get there faster. All right, brother. See you soon. Peace. All right, sorry about that.
No.
Anyway, so I got 5 minutes. Here we go.
Yeah.
We'll close it up here. Anyway, to finish the story, I'll talk quickly. So they're like, "Yo, you should compete," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And they're like, "Come on," and I'm like, "Oh, well, when you put it that way, I gotta do
Yeah,
it."
no
Like,
doubt.
I'm very easy to convince. So yeah, we go out there, man. I get fucking smashed by these guys, but I didn't sub once, and that was kind of an interesting thing because I wanted to test the waters, right? Like I'm a blue belt. Maybe I'll be getting my purple belt soon. We'll see what happens with that. I've been training for probably like at least 5 years now. And yeah, man, it was just such an awesome experience training with your guys, and then like the lifting, like Mark's just being so hospitable, man. Like,
Yeah.
I can't shout out Ultimate Athletics enough. Like you guys are fucking probably I have to say the most well-equipped gym I've ever been to.
With
And
the
dude,
weightlifting
like
and
no,
one
dude,
side,
yeah,
and
like
then-
and the shower, like and
Yeah.
and dude, I would say 10th Planet Bethlehem because they have or like the finishers location, biggest mat, like the nicest state-of-the-art thing. They don't have a shower yet, so until
Oh,
they get the
shit.
shower, I'm good. I gotta put Ultimate
Yeah.
Athletics up there. Like the amount of mat space, the gym equipment, like all that shit in one place, dude. It's what you need, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I like, let me ask you that, like as a like one of the last things we'll talk about. What is your dream gym? Like when you build your gym, what is going to be like some of the key features?
Well, definitely showers. You know what I mean? So
You
I
need
definitely
it.
want some showers in there. But just, I think the first thing, you know what I mean, when I open up a gym, I don't need like, tons of thrills or whatever. It's just a good size mat or whatever, and then that's it. Just hard training. That's it. I
Yeah.
don't need anything crazy.
You don't need
I'm
the
not
weightlifting stuff too much,
No, and I'm not going to do that. It's awesome that UA has it,
but it's not what you want.
Yeah,
in
what I
your
want
space.
just
Yeah, makes
jujitsu,
sense.
and I'm not going to be having like my plan isn't to have like MMA or like kickboxing or Muay Thai
Yeah,
or whatever.
straight
It's
jujitsu.
just jujitsu, whether it be gi or no gi, those two, and that's all it is. And just
That's
like
awesome, man.
and I think I'm gonna start out with just adults, and you know what I mean, get more comfortable with that than start training kids, because I have decent patience, but I've taught help teach some kids classes. I'm just like, I'm just pulling my hair out. These kids aren't listening or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to teach adults, obviously, but
yeah.
no, I definitely want to like piggyback off UA. I've been training for 10 years. I've been to my fair share of gyms, and UA is amazing. Mark Gervais is an amazing instructor, and just my game has improved exponentially having trained under him. And then we got Freddie there, who's he used to train with like Gary Ton and all those guys and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's awesome for him to bring what he knows and teach on Wednesday nights there. And I'm definitely grateful to train with him. And I was at a gym before that one, which is SAS in Syracuse, and they're just is amazing. Ignacio over there is awesome. Diego and Nas, me and him are pretty good friends, and just he's an awesome guy. But where I'm at right now, Ultimate Athletics, I'm forever grateful to be there. And like I said, everyone's welcome in there, and we get after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we ain't out there trying to hurt no one. We're all pretty easygoing guys and stuff
Yeah.
out there. We're killers, but we're not trying to hurt no one or nothing.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy, man. Like everyone that went to the tournament, I think, well, not everyone, but majority of your guys got gold in like all their divisions, which was fucking epic. So like being like in the same room as them and just rolling with like, a couple of guys today, man. Like, I'm like, I wouldn't say like I'm injured, but like you're fucking beat up after a tournament. I'm
Yeah,
like
no
bruised
doubt,
everywhere. I'm like, yo,
100%,
you could
yeah.
like not fuck this up, dude. Everyone was being so kind. Like the rolls were like still kind of hard, but no one was ripping shit. And
Yeah.
dude, that's a healthy environment.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I gotta get Sam. Give me some last sentiments, man. Like, talk like one last piece of advice for anyone out there. Maybe some cop advice, some jujitsu competitor advice, anything like that. Father
Yeah.
advice.
No, just cops. If anything you can try out, you know what I mean, while you're doing the job, is jujitsu. I've trained with cops, at different gyms, and I would say the most I've trained with, the most cops that I've seen train at one gym is where I'm at right now, which is awesome. Just to have that in common with guys that were training, that's awesome. And you know what I mean. And I brought some cops to train with me, which is awesome. And ego's probably the biggest killer like of atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like when you showed up, like I wasn't like thinking, I got to beat this dude to the ground. No, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, there's this new guy. I want to see what his game is, and I want to see where if I need him improve somewhere. Like if he does this, if he does this to me, and I'm lacking in my technique there, then I'm gonna work on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have never rolled before, and like I'm rolling with these guys
It's
all
always
the time and
nice
stuff like
to
that.
test your game against fresh stuff.
And
Especially with someone with color on the belt
It-
too. Like
it-
not saying like I'm good, but like you were a brown belt, I was like, oh man, another one of these guys wants to fuck me up.
Yeah,
Sure, like
no,
I came here for this.
Yeah, and it
So,
wasn't like that by
yeah,
any means.
of
I was
course, but
wicked,
it's like, you
yeah,
know,
chill. But there, you know, there's probably schools out there definitely that like new guy comes in, I'm gonna smash him, you know, show him how good we are over here and stuff like that. But that, we don't need to do that. Like,
I gotta say, man, those aren't my favorite ones to visit.
yeah, no doubt. And
it's like, man, I'm coming. Like, I don't roll hard usually unless I roll with you a few times.
Okay.
Like the studio guys I visited a lot. We'll bash heads. Like Steve
okay.
Joachim, man, like that guy rips on me, but like, you know, not like he's trying to snap me, but like he'll rip me around, and I'm like, fuck, like, you know, just a couple of guys over there. Like I gotta give a shout out to my man. There's a guy named Nick at Studio 84. Man, I love rolling with that guy. I think we're like, maybe he's a little lighter than me, but like skill level's probably pretty close. Man, like he's like one of my favorite dudes to roll with, like in all the gyms I've visited, and it's like it's such an unlikely like thing just
Nice.
find that.
And just
But
one shout out to
Yeah.
my brother Victor,
Fuck
same
yeah,
last
Vic.
name, Garcia, and just
does he train?
He does train.
Good,
Yeah, he
my
would take a
man.
lot of time off and on. He's like a 2 or 3 stripe white belt, and like I wish he stuck it out with me when I first started, when he got out of the Marines, because
Yeah.
he was in the Marines. He got out like a year after me, and just I wish he had trained the whole time, but at least he's still in it, and he trains all the time with me, and he goes to competitions with me. I had him in my corner at Emerald City, and I mean I've known
That's
way more than
awesome,
him,
man.
but just having his support there.
Is he gonna be at Emerald City too?
I am going there.
Yeah.
Either way to be a spectator.
Yeah.
I already got my like hotel.
Make sure you stay high to me.
Yeah, I will definitely 100%, and I'll be down at finishers, obviously competing at the qualifier.
Yeah.
For Emerald City, but just definitely shout out to my brother, and like he's always been supportive of me and my goals and stuff like that, and he's awesome, and hopefully by the time I open up my gym, like, he well established, like purple belt or something, teach some classes in my absence if like a competition arises or like whatever. So definitely shout out to him, because I don't think I'd be where I'm at if it wasn't for him. So 100%.
Well, that's awesome, man.
All right,
Thank you for
thanks. I
coming on the show,
appreciate it.
Tomas.
Thanks.